Good morning, Vietnam.
And we're back. I Don't Drink Coffee podcast, episode 8.
Mm-hmm. It
Episode
is.
8. This episode is brought to you by Blackline Insurance Group. Visit blacklineinsurancegroup.com.
And chocolate salty balls.
And it's still real hot in here. There's
Horribly hot.
still no AC. And
We have fans, though. Thank God we've got moving air this time.
they're not very big at all. Yours is bigger than mine.
That's what she said.
I swear.
Yeah,
Everything.
she did say that.
Sometimes when we say stuff like that, I think people are like, yeah, they set that up beforehand.
Well, they should hang around all the time then, because it happens all the time.
All the time. But we still have no AC because the adjuster, man,
Is not doing his job.
not doing his job. He took a long time to get back, to contact him.
Yeah, it sucks.
And to start the claims process, really. So it's kind of right in the middle of it now. And so hopefully soon we'll have AC.
Well, now, okay, you got, obviously some background in insurance shit. So,
Both sides, actually.
I mean, is it a tactic of his to wait so long, or is it? I mean, could he be that busy? Could he be that lax in what he's doing? I mean, I wonder what the reason is for the delay. I mean, I would think as an adjuster, especially if he's an independent adjuster, that I'm sure he probably gets paid per claim.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think I would want to move through these as quickly as possible to make my money.
Right.
I mean, that's my thinking. But this dude may think, well, I've got plenty of claims and there's, no rush. And we had the tornado come through Oklahoma, so I don't give a fuck about getting it done.
It's quite possible. Either that or he was on vacation. Or, as an independent adjuster, like if you're going to run daily claims, because this would have been a daily claim, basically. So when you're home in Oklahoma or, if you're
Wherever your home is.
And you're just, you're running daily claims, you kind of map them out. So let's say today I get one and this adjuster's from Idabel. So let's say, I'm in Idabel and I get a claim and he's probably, I'm guessing he's probably,
A shout out to the home of Stone and LaRue. He's from Idabel, okay? Go ahead, though.
You know where he really is from? And I was told this the other day. He's from Buffalo Valley.
Oh, yeah.
He went to school in Buffalo Valley for a while.
Yeah.
And I still did not feel bad. Even after hearing that, I did not feel bad about not liking Red Dirt music.
I just said, yeah.
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 Well, you were thinking.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well.
I went to a Sonny LaRue concert one time with Heavy D.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me a headache. And I wanted to leave.
Well, you talked about this once before, and I went to the first Red Dirt concert I went to was a Jason Boland concert that Dustin took me to, and he goes, "You want to meet him?" And we're there with a bunch of people, and I was like, "Do you know him?" And he goes, "Yes, everybody knows him."
Maybe it was Jason Boland that I went to.
Well, listen, you know what he does to me? We catch.
I don't even know.
We catch Jason Boland going back up on the stage his next set.
They are the same person to me.
Oh,
okay.
Well, he's very high whenever we approach him.
Right, because he's the one that sings about Oklahomans roll their joints all wrong.
No, that's Cross Canadian Ragweed, dude. Well,
See?
I think a bunch of those guys have sang that song.
Of course they
I don't
have.
know who wrote it.
They all
but-
sing the same stuff, man.
Right.
It's terrible.
But this guy obviously didn't know Dustin. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's like, hey, this guy's
Right.
like, hey, what's going on? With me and Dustin.
And he probably did know him at some point, but
Right, I'm sure he met him
sees a million
somewhere.
people.
Right.
Well, probably not a million. I'd say maybe 1,000.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, this is my
'Cause
buddy.
that's-
This is my buddy Luke.
He's like, who are you?
Don't you remember I saw you at Eastern? And he's like, oh, Wilburton, Oklahoma. Yeah, man. He's like tying things together as quickly as he can, like a good,
Right.
celebrity or semi-celebrity would do. And it was awkward, because I could tell
That you
what
were
was going
not
on
wanted.
was not.
Wanted.
Yeah, we didn't have the connection that I was led to believe we would have. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, I don't want to get too far off the subject.
I can't imagine anybody forgetting Dustin, though. I mean, really.
Well,
I know he's gone now. But even then,
Well, I mean, he was a very large guy. You know, obviously you're not going to miss him in a crowd of people.
he was great at talking with people.
Right.
He never met a stranger.
But you got to think about how many these guys play all over Texas, all over the
Yes.
place. So they meet thousands of people, and there's big people like Dustin out there, bigger people than Dustin. You know.
Yeah.
So you know, I mean, it's possible for him to go, well, I don't know this guy.
Right.
He knows me. You know, but I'm sure he runs into that all the time of people. You know.
Oh yeah, of course.
I run into it. People will come up to me and they'll go, "Hey man, are you from Stigler?" I'm like, "Nope." "Are you from Canadian?" "Nope."
I'm from Oklahoma.
I'm like, "Well, I get it all the time." And I always have to say it to people, "Man, I get it all the time." And it's true. I go places and people think they know me from places.
Really?
Yeah. Dustin and I, not to tell too many Dustin stories, but we were in
Can't tell too many Dustin stories.
Carolyn's when Carolyn's was opened by Sun Jesters, that restaurant.
I
Is
know
it still
Maryland's.
open?
I don't know Carolyn's.
This was anyway. This has been several years ago, obviously. We're sitting there eating breakfast one morning at like 9 o'clock in the morning. There's a lot of oil field people in there, and he and I, it's just me and him sitting across the table from each other. And a guy walks up and punches me in the arm real fucking hard. I'm talking about we are eating our breakfast talking. Oh yeah, we're laughing. Yeah, boom. And I'm like, I look at this dude, and the look on his face, I thought I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And I go, you know, with the most, what the fuck is that look? And he goes, as soon as I turn and he sees my full face, he goes like this. He goes, dude, I thought you were, who do you think I was? Dustin made fun of me forever about it.
You may not want
This
to say
dude from
it then.
McAllister, I can't think of his name, dude.
Good. It may be a good idea because if you do, tell me.
Anyway, well, I know,
You
but
know.
now you'd be like this, really? You know, you wouldn't see the
But I would
resemblance.
still call you the name all the time.
But he goes, I thought you were him, man. I am so sorry. And I was like, well, you might want to figure out who you're hitting whenever you come up and punch somebody that fucking hard, you know? He's like, I'm so sorry. And he walks up and Dustin's doing that right there. Dustin's laughing his balls off, you know?
Did he? Do you know who the guy was?
No, I didn't know this
You still
motherfucker,
don't-
dude.
you
No.
still never seen him before.
No.
Or never seen him again.
Yeah, if I did, I wouldn't know him. You know what I mean? It was one of those things where it's just like, I mean, it didn't make enough of an impression. We didn't fist fight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was more like a, what are you doing? Why would you do that to me? I'm eating breakfast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I get that shit. I go places all over and people think they know me from somewhere. It happens all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a guy that just a new guy came to work a couple weeks ago, and we were working together on this thing, and I noticed he kept looking at me out of the corner of my eye, you know, and he's like, hey man, where you from? And I'm like, I'm from Wilburton, which we work right outside of Wilburton. I was like, I'm from Wilburton originally, but I live in McAllister. He's like, man, I thought I knew you. Are you from Vian? And I'm like, nope, but I get it all the time, dude. People think they know me from somewhere. And he's like, really? I said, yes, dude. It's just a thing. I don't know. I should have been like a spy or something. I look like everybody, I guess. So I'm used to it.
Just tell him.
I should say, yeah, I work in porn or something like
Gay
that. You know
porn.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You've probably seen me in porn.
Gay porn.
Yeah. Let me take my pants off and you'll recognize me, you know? I'm the guy that's always cast as average guy, you know? But anyway.
So we still have no AC.
Yeah.
And
Yep,
what we were
sucks.
talking about the adjuster. And so he maps out, right? So what he's going to do is he's going to get a couple claims in Oklahoma City. He's going to get a couple claims in Tulsa. He's going to get a claim in McAllister. He's probably licensed in Texas, as am I, in a lot of other states too. And he may have one like in Paris. And he's going to map these things out to where, you know, he's not peeing in the wind, basically. So he's going to try to take, you know, a run to Oklahoma City and Tulsa the same day.
Right, I get it.
And so I don't know what his delay was. It's a huge delay. And
Yeah, this is weeks.
he finally did come. He did come down here finally. And but they're still kind of working out the details, I guess, of the claim. He hadn't even turned his claim in yet. And you know, he hasn't given, and how it works is he'll write his claim up and then he'll send it through, and then the company probably will call him. So whatever company they're insured with here will call them and go over the estimate with them, right? He could have done it, but it's just easier for him to write it up and let the company deal with it. So anyways, I was told that today that they haven't gotten the estimate. They don't know what is, they're going to do. And
So they're not even close to solving this thing. I mean,
well,
as
they've
far
already
as getting,
started. They've already, like you said, you've seen they've already started on it.
Yeah.
On the repairs.
But are they doing it on their own? I mean, are they just anticipating that it'll be
They're
paid for
anticipating it's going
eventually?
to be paid for, I believe.
Yeah, I don't blame them, man. I'd be ahead of that shit.
But what
too.
happens is when you have a policy, as an insured, we're insureds. Everyone's an insured. You kind of need someone sometimes, and in this case, you kind of need somebody to go to bat for you a little bit.
Right. And I got a little experience with what you're saying because, Gavin's car got destroyed, not destroyed, but I mean, it was totaled in the storm. And that all kind of happened right about the time you were really getting started.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, I never even talked to the adjuster. Like the guy with the insurance company told me he was coming. He's like, he'll be there, in the next day or two to look at it and da-da-da-da-da. Well, this dude came and looked at it and was gone, and I never even met this dude,
Mm-hmm.
So that was even kind of cool because at least it was done somewhat quickly, instead
Yeah.
of this dragging on like this
Right.
thing seems to be doing. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, this is crazy, and this is not normal. You're supposed to call the insured, within 24 hours. And like on a hurricane or whatever, they'll give you up to 48 hours. I mean, they tell you, we want you. And I've never had an issue. And like I said, I've never really dealt with an agent because I've always just handled my business. And for whatever reason, this guy has not. And he may have a good reason. He may have had a death in the family or a medical emergency or whatever. I don't know. And he didn't give them, and as far as I know, he didn't give them. And I'm not here to bash this guy, but here we are, weeks with no AC in a business, business, and it's a gym, so people are used to, they're okay. I mean, it's hot, but they're, we work out in the heat, so it's not that big of a deal.
But you pay your premiums on time,
Right.
So why can't we get our service?
Right.
You know what I mean? You get this money paid to you in case something happens. Well, when that in case happens, to me, these people should be jumping through their ass to get it fixed because all this time you've been pay.
I agree.
And now where's the things I've been paying for? You know what I
Right.
mean? That's what my phone calls would be like, have you noticed that I pay my premiums on time? I expect something done soon, or I'm gonna get a lawyer and you are going to fucking pay for whatever it is I'm insuring. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it sucks that you have to be that way. I mean, evidently, to me, if it was me, I would be on the verge of that. You know,
I mean,
I'd
if
be
this
like,
was Walmart, and let's just not even say Walmart, but if it was, because they probably self-insure anyway, so they probably just replace the units and go on.
Right.
But if this is another small business that requires air conditioning, and this place kind of requires air conditioning, I mean, even the floors in the main gym are kind of coming up from the humidity, I guess. So there's a little bit of damage in there to the floors, the rubber mats. So this place does require air conditioning, but it can get by with none because it's a gym. But I guess, I mean, I'm sure
but
there's people that
you're paying. You know what I'm saying? That's
well, I
the
know
thing.
that's what I'm saying though. But so how do all these other businesses get treated?
Right.
I mean, how does the bakery down the shop, if somebody steals their stuff tonight, are they going to be out? And that's another thing you need to make sure when you insure your business is there's things in there that you need to have in place in case stuff like this happens, especially with a bakery or any other lawyer's office or whatever, because loss of use. So what I'm kind of aggravated at the fact is as an adjuster, I'm kind of aggravated with him because he's kind of dropped the ball a little bit. And then and I don't know who their agent is. He may be somebody here in town. He's maybe a good guy or good girl or whatever. I don't know. But I kind of feel like they need to intervene a little bit. And like I said, I've never dealt with an agent as an adjuster before, really. If their number's wrong, I call the number and it's disconnected, whatever, I may call an agent, but I've did claims over the years. I've did thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of claims. Thousands. And I've probably called an agent 4 times, 5 times.
Yeah.
So I may call an agent and say, hey, do you have a good number for this insured? Oh, yeah, right here. Da-da-da-da. And it's never what's on that loss notice. It's never what's on my paper.
Right.
I'm like, well, good. I'm glad you have the number.
Now
but
I can get done with
how
it.
come it's not on here already? How come you have access to this number but for whatever reason, I'm just saying, but the agent, so here I am, running my own business, and I know it is kind of segueing into,
Yeah, but it's not shameless because even I have my own personal story dealing with you in insurance about I had to file a claim whenever you were working for another insurance company, and I'm not plugging it because you're my friend. It's really happened that it was handled quickly. You know what I mean? Like there was people connecting, like my mom and dad were like, because I was like, I gotta go pick up my truck. It's done. And they're like, what? The adjuster's already seen it. They were waiting on the adjuster to see it. I'm like, the truck's done. I gotta go get it. So, I mean, in that instance, I was, completely satisfied. And that it wasn't even your show or whatever at that time.
And as an agent, you don't want to work for a company that's not going to be good with claims.
To me, I mean, from the outside looking in, as a potential customer, I'm looking at you as the face of that company. So really, you kind of are that company in a certain,
100%.
In a respect. I mean, I would be going, hey, Ben,
you sold me this
whatever,
policy,
yeah.
And now the adjuster's not coming for 2 weeks. You didn't call me back.
We can't get anything done with this.
That's another big issue. We have guests lined up, and we've had to tell them, hey, I'm sorry,
If
but
you don't want to sweat your nuts off, you better wait.
And I don't want to do that to our guests, which, it's not like they couldn't handle it, but I'd rather them be comfortable, and this is not comfortable.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty hot. It's pretty hot in here.
Yeah. Well, the fans make it better. The last time we did it, it sucked. It was very hot, but anyway.
Fans do make it better.
Well, one thing I want to talk about.
Fans of the podcast too. You guys.
I want to talk about. I had a first experience here in the last day or two.
Hang on a second. Before you bring that up, you had a story to tell me. About a week ago.
Mm-hmm. Well,
was that something you were going to bring up?
It was fresh then, and it's still, I can tell you the details, but it's basically we were getting in the truck, my wife and I, Brandy. And
why do you have to say my wife and I, Brandy? My wife, Brandy?
Well, people may not know. I don't know.
They know.
I got to make sure people
You can't just say
understand.
my wife. Does she tell you you better say my name?
I don't want to sound
Let
like
everybody know who I am.
Well, like I watch Joe Rogan's podcast, and it's always I got a buddy, my buddy.
Not that it's about
and
her,
they make
but she
memes.
wants to make sure that you.
Oh well, no, I'm just saying I don't want to sound like Joe Rogan's always saying this. He uses that same segue. I got a buddy, my buddy, a buddy of mine, and people make memes of it. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure I identify these people.
Okay.
Instead of it just being a mystery person. Oh, me and this person were getting in the vehicle.
Well, I'm not saying I dislike it. I'm just saying. I just want to know why you say it.
You think it's because of being henpecked by my wife, and it's, if you'll notice, I try to name everybody in these stories because I don't want someone to think I'm making this shit up. You know what I mean? I mean, it's legit things that happen with these people.
But if you say my wife, we all know.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
Your wife?
My
Brandy.
wife and I, we're getting in the truck.
Brandy.
Yeah, and it's a little bit lifted. It's not a real tall truck, but it's lifted a little bit, and it doesn't have any running boards on it, okay? We took all that shit off because I don't like them.
Can I guess what happened? When you stepped up, you ripped your jeans.
No.
Okay.
I'm getting in the driver's side because she makes me drive everywhere. She's getting in the passenger side, and I'm looking at her while we're getting in because I'm about to talk to her, about to say something to her. So as I go to step in the truck, she disappears. Like, out of sight. And I'm like, what are you doing? Nothing. She don't say anything. I'm like, what the fuck? So I go around the truck and I start hearing, and I'm like, so I go around the truck and she stepped, our driveway's concrete, right at the edge of where we park the truck. We have a yard light, you know what I mean? One of those lamp posts, and it has like a square of bricks around it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, in between that and the driveway, it's grass. Well, she's trying to step up in the truck. Well, she steps halfway on the concrete and halfway off, rolls her ankle, and falls down and on top of those bricks, okay? When I get to her, she's like wadded up in between all this shit laying there, and I go, are you okay? Because my first instinct to do is what she does, and that's laugh. Okay?
Right.
Because she's sitting there going, oh, this hurt look on her face, and she allows no one that, in life.
That
like,
happens too.
Like when I twisted
Get
my
up.
ankle real bad in that basketball tournament, she's just like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So I don't have a whole lot of mercy either. And I'm like, what'd you do? You know what I mean? And she's like, I twisted my ankle. I can't get up, and I have to help her get up. I shit you not. This woman's, she's a young woman. You're not supposed to tell a woman's age, but I mean, she's a young woman, and I help her get up. And she's trying to walk on it, okay? And every time she can't even put any weight. Like, she's like about to fall every time it touches. You know what I'm saying? She's about to fall down. So I said, well, let's don't, wherever we were going, I was like, let's go back in the house. She's like, no, I'm going, we can do it or whatever. And it was just, that was it. I mean, nothing else. She just kind of whined about it the rest of the day. And then,
Did y'all go?
yeah.
Did you have to help her in and stuff?
Yeah.
In the business? Wherever you were going? Or you were going to eat or
No,
something?
she like tried to be cool going in, but she still had like that hitch in her giddy up, Well, and that's what I was like. She goes, I heard something pop and about made me vomit. And I'm like,
gosh.
maybe she's really hurt. No, she's not really hurt. You know what I mean? She's like, it still hurts me. Like she said it today. It still hurts every once in a while if I turn wrong or whatever. I'm like, whatever. So, yeah, that's what happened. She fell down all the way down. You know what I'm saying? I thought she tripped and hit. When I first walked around her, I thought she did fall on those bricks, But that wasn't what was bothering her. It was that ankle was hurting. Okay. So it was funny.
And she laughed at you about your ankle. So
She's laughed at me about 100 things that's been wrong with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She has no sympathy whatsoever about pain or sickness or anything.
So did you ever laugh?
Yes. Yes, of course I did.
Was she cool with it?
Yeah, she didn't.
She didn't have none. She couldn't do anything about it.
What did she say? What's she gonna do? Chase me down?
All right. What else was you gonna?
So today, yesterday. Okay, I worked on my car this last weekend, and I had to build some brackets for the seats because this car that I bought didn't. It came with some junky ass, cheap, shitty buckets in it. Okay, bucket seats, trash. Whoever worked in this car before, okay, the guy that I bought it from didn't do all this stuff. I could tell. Number one, he didn't have it all that long, but whoever had it that did all the shit that I've fixed on it, like put Bondo in the floorboards over the rust holes and shit, put like a piece of flashing, like you would put around a stovepipe down and then put Bondo over it or whatever, and I tore all that shit out. So it came with
You tack weld that in, right?
Do what?
Are you welding that in? You're tack welding that in?
When I fixed it,
Yeah.
I cut the floorboards completely out of it and welded brand new ones back in.
Okay.
Yeah. I took all that shit out. It's all on my Instagram.
Follow him,
Yeah,
Lucas Johnson.
I think it's 2016 or something like that. I don't
Is it
remember.
Lucas Johnson _ 2016?
No, I don't remember. Something like that. Whatever.
Go ahead, tell your story, and I'll find out.
Anyway, so I go and work on my car. I have to build these brackets from scratch, basically, out of some angle iron and some things that we had. And so I do a lot of grinding, a lot of welding, and or no, not any welding. I'm sorry, not welding this day. Just cutting with a cutting torch, and then some grinding to clean them up and shine them up, make them look like I wanted to look. And I get this, grinding shit everywhere. So I go home. That was Saturday. So yesterday, which would have been Tuesday, I woke up yesterday morning when and I noticed my eye was like kind of itching, burning or something like that. So I get my truck to go to work, and I'm like, man, that thing's kind of bothering me. Well, I look in my rearview mirror, and I can see a red blood vessel right here. I thought, damn, I've busted a blood vessel in my eye. It's burning. I've heard of people doing it. I've never done it, but I thought, well, hell, maybe I did something. I don't know. I rubbed my eye a little bit. Went on to work. Well, the whole fucking day, it kept bothering me. And, talking to people, I'm rubbing it and shit under there looking at me like, And so I get done with work. I get home, and we're doing dinner and everything. And I'm noticing, dude, it's like it went from something that I wasn't really paying that much attention to like I can't stop feeling it. It's burning, like something's in there. So I'm thinking, damn, I got something in my eye, So I go in the mirror and look, and there's, in the colored part of my right eye, there's a black speck there. So I'm like, damn, I got something in my eye. So I thought, well, I'm going to get it out. So I go buy some contact solution, like whatever that shit is you put contact lenses. And I'd bring it home, and I'm like, all right, woman, talking to my wife.
Brandy.
And I get down on one knee because she's too damn short to wash my eye out if I'm standing up. And of course, she has no mercy. You know what I mean? She's like, rips my eye open, washes it out real hard. I'm talking about use a bunch of that shit.
Did she look at it beforehand?
No, she didn't. She just trusted me that it was there. I was like, there's something in it.
So you didn't, like, maybe say, hey, will you look at this and see what you think?
No.
Okay.
Because she's just going to, like, tell me I'm being a wuss about it or whatever.
Okay.
I was like, just do this. Wash this out for me.
Even after she rolled her ankle and acted like that, she's still ruthless?
Yeah,
okay.
That's it. And
maybe she is Native American.
So I said, let's get something and let's get it out of there. Let's a paper towel or something. And I think she tried to use a Q-tip or something. I can't remember now. I was doing a lot of different shit. I was splashing water in it and it would burn. Oh my God, dude. When she's rinsing it out with that solution, Jesus, it burned. You know what I mean? Like right where that was at, it was stinging. I was like, shit. So I said, I'm not going to go to the emergency room, because my dad has gotten shit. He's a welder, been a welder forever. Gotten shit took out of his eye several times. Went and had it done. So I called him.
Sometimes you're going to have to do that.
Right. Well, I called him. I was like, what do you think I should do? I said, it's not big.
Now, this was yesterday or today?
Yesterday.
Okay.
And it's like, it was getting to where when I was blinking, I could feel it making the inside of my eyelid raw in a line where that thing is. Every time I'm blinking or looking, it's dragging on my fucking eyelid. So Dad's like, if you can't sleep, go to the emergency room. If it keeps you from sleeping or whatever. And I said, okay, I'll try to go to sleep. So I laid down, got my eyes still, closed my eyes, and I was able to go to sleep. And I thought, well, maybe it'll come out during the night and I'll be all right. Well, I woke up this morning, hell no. And it wasn't worse, but it was the same. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, damn. So I think, well, I'm going to go to the clinic, get this thing took out. So I looked the hours up for the clinic. On Wednesdays, they don't open until 10 a.m. 10 in the morning, okay? So I got to wait till 10 to get this shit out of my eye. Go up there. They send me to optometry.
Now, is this the Choctaw?
Yes.
Okay.
First, they gave me a slip of paper with the wrong name on it, and I took it back there, and I was like, I need to, here's my thing. And she was like, she flips it around, is this you? And I'm like, no. She goes, you need to go back and get another slip. So anyway, I jack around here with my eye hurting and shit, and they give me the runaround. Go back there, wait for like an hour, and this dude gets me on the little thing with my chin against the thing and against the forehead and looks in there, and he's like, yeah, it's a piece of metal. Let me put some deadening drops in there, and then I'll get it out. Have you ever had that done?
No.
Dude, he puts this, hand me a tissue. And I'm like, oh, okay. I thought it was because he had me hold my eye open for quite a while he was looking in it. So it was kind of watery. And I thought, oh, that's nice of him. I felt like a woman. I'm like, I'm going to dab this out a little bit. He's feeling sorry for me. Hell no. It was for the yellow schmagma drops that he puts in my eye. And it didn't. It's the thickest yellow shit you've ever seen in your life that he like drops a drop in my eye. And goo is like running down my cheek. I'm like, oh my God. I start wiping it off and he just walks off. You know what I mean? He's like, let me put these in here. He comes back and he goes, okay, put your face back in the thing. I'm going to get this piece of metal out. I'm like, all right, put it up there. And he's got a long, looks like a pick, like a ice pick, long, but it's real fucking sharp. And he's got it in his hand. And dude, I'm thinking, of all the things to lose, am I going to lose my eye right now? And he's an optometrist. I get it.
Right.
But how many times have people amputated the wrong fucking leg and all these other things? You know what I'm saying? Maybe he had a rough night. I don't know. I don't know what this dude's been doing.
Maybe he trips and jabs you right in the eye.
I mean, maybe he's got, maybe he's an alcoholic and he's got the fucking shakes, I don't know.
Or maybe he...
And he keeps telling me to look hard to the right, so I can't see what he's doing. You know what I mean? He's like, look to the right. And I'm like, he goes, no, look as far as you can to the right. I'm like, oh, please God. So I look hard to the right and I see this thing coming, right? It goes past the little, because he's got me still in this thing.
Yeah.
He goes past it, and when he hits my eye with it, my vision got like something out of the Matrix. Like it goes, like elongated my vision to the right real hard. It's like something pulled my sight into a sharp point over here like this, and then it goes back. I'm like, you're not supposed to blink and shit. He's got a big sharp thing in my eye, so I'm not trying not to blink. And he goes, "Yep, got it." Shows it to me, wipes the thing off, and he's like, "Have a great day," and he fucking turns around and walks out. I mean, I felt used, okay? I felt like a prostitute for some reason.
Did you?
I was like, I don't get a thanks, or I don't know why do I need to be thanked? I'm the one with something in my eye, but I mean, it was like no big deal to him,
So what was the result?
I spent the rest of the day, and it's still burning, right? Well, the deadening drops were, of course they kept it dead for a long time, so I left and went back to work, and I'm like, oh,
So today,
feels so good. Yeah, that was this morning. I went and had that done this morning. And then when the deadening drops wore off, my eye is still real sore and burns, okay?
really?
Right now it does. Have you not seen me rubbing it over here like a little baby?
Like a little baby.
Yeah. Yeah, it was trippy. The trippiest part of it, though, I wish I could make people see what it looked like when he got it out of there. Because he's like, it left a pretty good hole. Oh, yeah, and he gave me some antibiotic drops. 4 times a day, I got to put that shit in there. But it was I've never had anything dug out of my eye. It was pretty trippy.
I haven't either.
You don't want it.
The only thing I've ever had done to my eyes were I was at a relative's house when we were going to go turkey hunting the next day, right?
Your stories always involve some fucking drastic thing. Go ahead. I'm ready.
And so I kept rubbing my eye. I was trying to go to sleep because we were getting up like 4 a.m. to go
sleep, little
turkey
baby.
hunting. Yeah.
Sleep, little Benny.
Sleep, little Benny. And so I'm rubbing my eye and rubbing it. And finally, I'm just getting after it, right? So finally, I get up and go look and this is like 2:00 in the morning, right? We're fixing to get up at 3, or at 4. I think 4.
Oh, God.
I don't remember exactly what time it was.
You stayed up all night long rubbing your eye?
I couldn't go to sleep.
Oh, shit.
And I'm not, I'm tough, man. So
right.
I'm just trying to go to sleep. I'm trying to get my eye.
Your reputation precedes you, yes.
Right. So I go looking. Well, I can tell you some tough stories if you'd like to hear them. Okay.
Go ahead.
So I go in the bathroom and look in the mirror finally, right? And the whites of my eyeball, the whites of my eyeball were over. They were like, it was like a little sack hanging out of my eyeball. Yeah, it had turned into a like squishy sack, the white, and it was like hanging out of my eyeball. I had to call my mom in the middle of the night to take me to the hospital.
How old were you this time?
I was probably 12.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
What the hell was it?
Allergies, some kind of allergies that
anaphylactic reaction to some shit.
I don't know, man. They gave me some drops and it made it all better. And so still to this day, if I start rubbing my eye, I'm like,
don't rub it.
Yeah, don't rub it, dude. Don't rub it. Because honestly, when I looked in my eye in the mirror, when I looked at it, I thought it was gone. I thought it was like,
you saw that hanging out?
That is hanging out.
My eye is hanging out.
Yeah, there's no way that, not that I didn't think my whole eyeball was hanging out. I just thought there's no way to fix this part right here. When the whites of your eye is a sack, like a little bitty squishy sack, and it's hanging, how does it go back to normal? I call my mom in the middle of the night. I got my other relative up out of the bed, and they came in there and was like, oh, gosh. Call my mom. They call my mom. They're like,
no hunting for you, Benny.
No hunting for me. So, that's the only thing really I've had, I think, done to my eyes. Golly.
You know what? Here's another thing that I had done. Here, I guess I'm doing a bunch of self-maintenance lately. I hadn't been to the dentist in about 8 years.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. And my wife, I guess it dawned on her that she had never seen me go to the dentist all the time we'd been together.
So she got you an appointment?
Yeah. And I got to go.
To get your teeth cleaned too?
Yeah.
Mm.
And
they were like,
oh, well, while you're here, let's fill a cavity real quick. Okay. I had a cavity.
Don't let them do it, dude.
They did it.
Don't let them do it. And I'll tell you why. I have a story for everything. Right?
Right.
So I go and get my teeth cleaned back in like 01.
Is this the last time you went?
No.
You sound like me.
No. And my mom even told me, she goes, listen, if they find any cavities or whatever, don't let them do it.
They're going to kill you.
You're going to go. She had somewhere else that she liked to go. So she said, don't have them do it there. Just go, I think maybe to Ada or somewhere. This is the Choctaw Nation. At the time, it was 2001. So they come back in there and they said, you have a cavity. And I said, okay. And they said, but it could be just a dark spot. So
But we're going to pull a tooth.
we're just going to watch it for a while. And I said, okay, so, the next time I get my teeth cleaned or whatever, like, yeah. And by then it should be whatever. I don't remember exactly. So then I go get my teeth cleaned again and they try to do it again. You have a dark spot. So every time I get my teeth cleaned and they do x-rays, they always tell me I have a dark spot and it's probably a cavity. And I go, no, it's not. So it's not a cavity. It's just a dark spot.
You have a dark spot on your tooth?
A dark spot in the x-ray that looks, but it's not a cavity.
Maybe it's your twin.
So before you let somebody drill in your teeth and feel a cavity, just tell them it's a dark spot. And if it starts bothering you, and maybe I'm giving the wrong advice because I'm not a dentist.
I think this is horrible advice.
It could be.
Because my dad never goes to the dentist, and his shit's like falling out now. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he has bad teeth now. And always had good teeth all his life, and he never took care of them.
Oh, maybe I should just not say that then. But I'm
The
telling
dentist-
you, my situation, they were trying to drill in my teeth and feel a cavity. That was not really a cavity.
Well, the dentist that worked on did this cavity for me used to work out with this gym.
Well, when I go get my teeth cleaned now and I get them and they do an x-ray and they come back in there and start with that, you have a dark spot in your teeth. I said, listen, I've had that dark spot since 2000, 2001. It's not a cavity. And they go, oh, okay. All right. It's a dark spot. But how
your
many people
twin.
will go in with just dark spots that get their teeth drilled in or drilled in? Probably a lot.
I was fine with it. You know what I mean? I ain't been in 10 years, or 8 years. So.
And if you're a dentist,
Now, I had him take a wisdom tooth that didn't need to be taken.
And that was another thing they told me back in 2001 or 2000 when I went to that. He come back in there and he goes, you have to get your wisdom teeth cut out right now. And I was like thinking, well, my mom said don't let you, drill on me right now.
Is it pressing on an artery?
Right.
What's the problem?
Yeah, I was thinking right now. I was like, well, maybe if it's an emergency, take them out, And but he said, no, you'll have to go to Ada to get that done. He goes, but you need to make an appointment ASAP. So, I talked to a couple people and they're like, well, are they bothering you? And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, I wouldn't worry about it, until maybe they start bothering you or whatever. So then I go to another dentist, and they're like, no, yeah, they're there. But if they're not bothering you, don't do it.
And they might never come in. Did yours come in? Your wisdom tooth?
Like all the way?
Yeah.
Like when you mean in, where I can feel
where they
them?
grew in?
No,
Yeah.
no, but they're there and they're pushing.
Oh yeah.
But they're not causing me any issues whatsoever.
Well, I had a bottom wisdom tooth come in, and it's just another tooth.
I
It
know
came in and looks like a perfect little tooth right at the back of
Really?
my mouth. Yeah. I had a miniature tooth over here that came in, and the dentist took it out. And I'm sure he was thinking, oh, it's a little tooth. It'll be easy. Shit, no. He had to like break it up to get it out of there. And it was just like a miniature tooth.
See, that's why, man. I've never had a shot in my mouth. I've never had a cavity. And
You
so
never had a cavity?
No.
I've had not a lot, but I've had some. Like the dentist goes, you've had some pretty big work done a time or two. And I was like, hell yeah, I have. Why do you think I ain't been in 8 years? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because every time I come, you guys find more problems.
That shit sucks. You know what I mean? So if I ain't hurting when I get here, I'll be hurting when I leave. But,
Right.
but nah, man. I mean, my teeth are pretty good that's what they kept saying. Is you got really strong teeth. You got really strong teeth. Yeah. So whatever. I mean, I don't dip or smoke or do any of the things that fuck your teeth up. So, I guess they'll stay good.
So if we have any dentists watching, I'm sure they'll be like, come on, man. You guys are stupid. Or not you, me.
Right.
If you got a dark spot on your tooth.
Well, this guy,
And I'm not that way, typically.
you know this dude.
If I go in and a dentist says, or a doctor or whatever says, hey, this is what's wrong with you, then I'm like, okay, which I really have never really been faced with that many problems, really. But
Well, this guy's so nice that if he would have wanted to amputate like a finger,
yeah, you're just like, okay,
yeah, I'd have been like, well, it sounds like I need it, bro. You know, do what you got to do.
yeah,
But yeah, it was. But you know, it was weird how much different my teeth felt once they had been. I mean, I brush them. I keep them,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, you realize how much buildup you have,
right.
Yeah.
I was like, ugh. I wondered why Brandy was so grossed out. You know, when I told her, she's like, you haven't been to the dentist. We've been together. I was like, no. She's like, ugh. You know what I mean? It like hit her all of a sudden. And I'm like, what? You see me brushing my teeth? What? You know? And sure enough, you know, I get there and once they're done, I'm like, wow, I feel different. You know, this is
whole new world.
yeah, this is weird. I can like pick my teeth and like pick them.
You can
There's
feel
like
your
room
teeth now.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was always like, my teeth are just close together. No, they were gross. You know, so.
Stop making me laugh, man. I try so hard not to laugh on this thing.
Why, dude? Just let it hang out. You know what I'm saying? Just
I
do
know,
it.
I hate the way I laugh, though, man.
Ah,
And people don't want to hear me laugh. People do not want to hear
yeah,
me
they
laugh.
damn sure do.
They don't even want to hear me talk, but they're listening right now.
Yeah. Well,
But probably their spouse or somebody in their family is making them listen to it, and they're like, I do not want to listen. This is so stupid.
no, man. Hey, listen. Now, here's another thing I want to ask real quick.
Okay.
I'm trying to get into doing meal prep, right? Well, I don't want to do.
Did you like my comment? I don't think you even said anything to it at all. I thought it was pretty funny.
No, I didn't justify it with a response. No, I need to know some real shit. And nobody was the only person. There was one person responded to me
Well, have
with
you looked
something
at-
that was advice.
Dude, all you got to do. Now, if you're wanting advice from somebody you know, I can.
I'm wanting to know someone who has
That knows from
if someone
personal
is
experience.
if someone's listening or watching and they have used a meal
Service.
prep service where they pre-make the meals and you just order them over the internet. They come to your house 5 to 7 days at a time worth of food that's healthy. This is the way I work. If I am left to my own devices, right? If I have nothing, if I just make up my mind, I'm going to eat healthy. I will not do it.
Right, but
you
before
don't look
you-
like this with self-control. You know what I'm
Before
saying?
you, the listeners, the fans, before you comment, just know that whatever advice you give him, he's not going to take.
That's not true. It's
You
not
never
true.
listen to anything I say. What kind of phone do you have right now?
I have an iPhone.
Okay. And are you very happy with your iPhone?
Not really. No.
Okay.
I mean,
And
I'm not.
What did I tell
don't
you
hate
beforehand?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm with you.
We don't talk about anything else. I'm just saying I'm giving you advice.
Brandy accused me of the same thing.
But I think a
I've
lot of
never
people
listened.
look at me that way. They're like, man, dude, you.
Well,
if I bring up something like, what kind of truck should I buy?
Well, you're a brand
automatic-
whore, dude. You know what I'm
Not
saying?
necessarily, no.
Oh my God, are you sure you
You
want to
thi-
say that on where
Yeah.
it's recorded?
Yeah, I'm
Because
not.
you are hardcore, dude. You have like these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
These brands, and if it ain't this,
Well, and
it
there's a
ain't
reason for
shit.
that. If they've treated me good, like this phone has treated me good,
But you've never had an iPhone.
I've
You
never
don't
had-
Even, you don't even know what an iPhone is like. You've
I've
never
never
even
had any issues with this phone.
right, but you've never owned it.
Zero issues
You
with
can't.
this phone.
It's hard to take advice from someone who's never tried both. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like, have you ever owned a Chevrolet vehicle? No.
No.
I'll answer that for you. So you
But-
don't know. All you
don't
know
know.
is from birth you heard the blue oval. Ford.
I love Chevrolet. You know why? Because my family's made a lot of money.
I've heard
off of
this
them.
100 times.
And that's the damn truth.
There's Fords in there too.
Not near as many as Chevrolet.
Yeah, because nobody
you-
buys Fords.
Well,
There's
listen.
none on the road. Look at them. Park them anymore. You can't hardly tell the difference between them actually. But I mean,
Park an F-250 beside a
historically,
2500 Chevrolet. Come on, man.
those things.
come on.
No. They look. These
and
vehicles.
I'll
look the
tell you
same
the
to me.
truth. And Trent and I have talked about this. Trent back here.
Hey Trent.
He's on his way to Kentucky for a fishing tournament. So we want to wish him.
Good luck, man.
I hope you lose.
Is
Hope
he
you come in last place.
Is he bow fishing?
I think so. Yeah, that's the only
Okay.
kind of fishing I've ever known of him to do.
Oh, okay.
So Trent and I have talked about this because him and I think his wife, I think maybe they've gotten a new vehicle now, but they were looking, and I agreed with him. And see, this is what you don't know about me. Okay, this is what you don't see. You
I'm
just
ready.
brand whore.
Definitely.
I'm driving that Expedition out there, first of all, because I have 0 payments. And I love it.
I'm with that. All right,
So every
I'm not
month
even
when
mad
you
about
pay
that.
your $700 or $800 or $900 payment,
There you go.
I want you to text me and say, "Hey, it just came out of my account." Okay, and I'm gonna text you back with a dollar sign and a big fat 0 on the side of it. Okay. So, anyways, but I'm not knocking people that drive new vehicles because I wouldn't mind to have one. But when I go out there now, the Ford trucks. Okay, if I was to buy one, it would be a F-250. My wife, Amy, she would like for me to get, she loves the F-250s, but she would like for me to get either another Expedition or a Raptor, right?
What?
So anyways, back to my point. I start looking at them, right? Looking at the F-250s. I'm also looking, at the time was looking at a, big RV, big fifth wheel. So I'm like, all right, I'm looking at and I get to the interior of these things, and I don't like them. I don't like the interior. I don't like the steering wheel, and I know it sounds stupid. It does sound stupid, but Trent and I have talked about it. He agrees with me. You get in, and like the instrument cluster, everything to most people, but I'm real picky, right? And I have to really like it. And I love the outside of the trucks, but I don't really like the interior.
Well, that's what you're going to see most of the time
And
anyway.
like the seats and stuff are cool, but like the instrument cluster, to me, they could have did a better job.
But
And people that I know that are diehard Chevrolet fans, I've had huge arguments with all them people, and now they're driving Fords down the road, like hiding their face when they drive by me because they don't want me to see them driving a Ford.
Well, I'm not diehard either way. I wouldn't say. I mean, I leaned more towards Chevrolet because I like the way they look as a vast majority of their vehicles. I like them aesthetically, my own personal opinion. So I tend to lean towards that when I see trucks that are, and not all trucks or cars that are Chevrolet are cool by any stretch, especially the new ones. But they've done a horrible job. Chevrolet has done a horrible job with their car design for a number of years. Horrible. The GTO, dude, when I found out, because I'm building a Le Mans right now, 70 model Pontiac GTO is my favorite vehicle of all time, of all vehicles that's ever existed. So I heard that they were making a GTO, and I was hyped. I was super fucking hyped, right up until I saw the first picture of one. And I was like, what is this?
Look when Dodge brought back the Dart. It's like,
well, but what about the Challenger?
I mean, even
the
Dodge.
Challengers are pretty cool. They're at least a throwback to the old style.
Well, the Chargers too. The Charger.
Yeah, but I mean, they made them a four-door car that are not as. They're not as.
No, they look nothing like the old.
They're all four-door cars.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
didn't make a coupe, so it's kind of like, what the fuck's the point? I mean, and I don't hate them. Gavin's driving one right now.
It's a pretty car, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a stupid-looking car. I'm just saying, like, when you do like a car like the Challenger, they did that the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They took some old styling and kind of modernized it and sold it. It was cool. I'm sure they've sold who knows how many of those cars because I see them everywhere. But Chevrolet did a horrible job of, like, that GTO looks like a mom car. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it looks.
Now, what GTO are you talking about?
They Pontiac. I mean, I count Pontiac as part of Chevrolet. I know they're not a Chevrolet, but
No, I mean you're talking about like the
it's GM, so
the older one, like the
Yeah,
5-year-old one or
the
6-year-old,
2005s or whatever it is. They came out with the GTO again.
Dang, it has been that old. Yeah, but they were very fast.
Yeah, they're badass as far as the engine and shit goes, but as far as the way the car looks, I wouldn't own one. You know, like I said, as far as vehicle styling, cars especially, I mean, it's gone. Nobody's buying cars anymore. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everything's about economy, and they fucked them all up, as far as I'm concerned. Every vehicle company, the car design, except for like some of the Toyotas and shit that they're like the Supras and those kind of things like that they're making like race cars out of, you know, turbocharged race cars and shit. There's some of those that are still cool looking.
So you don't like the new Shelbys?
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Actually, I saw what's the high-end Shelby that they make now? What is that one? What do they call it? Isn't it like a GT or what's the new designation for the Shelbys?
Well, the one that I posted on Instagram today.
Yeah,
it's a GT 500.
Okay,
it ain't out yet. It's not out.
Well, I saw
it's
one.
coming out.
I saw a black car in McAllister.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that Mustang? I don't know whose it is or anything like that. I have no idea who was driving it.
Yeah, I don't think it's a Shelby though.
It's a badass car. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a shit what emblem is on that car. I would drive it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It even sounded like it was setting at a light. I was sitting next to it. And of course, I roll my window down just to kind of hear. I could hear it, but I mean, I wanted to hear it when it took off because I thought.
Ford tasted like, didn't you?
Well, he was going to turn right on Wyandotte. So I'm like, who's driving this car that is not going to open this bitch up whenever they come around the corner? So I'm waiting on it. Hell no. Had to be somebody that's trying to take real good care of the car because they're like,
well, it's not even that, but when you drive a car like that, dude, everyone's looking.
Hell yeah.
Even the cops.
Yeah, but I mean, at all four stops, everybody's waiting on a show.
Right.
You were driving this obviously very expensive. No, he just fucking eased on out. I'm like, thanks for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I see a badass car, I want him to do something badass, you know? So, but anyway, very nice car. The Mustangs, I'll give you that. They've done a pretty good job of keeping those cars relevant. You know, obviously they've sold.
But let's get back to the brand you like, Chevrolet, and they haven't.
No.
Pontiac's no more. Dodge, the Challenger, it reminds me too. It looks to me like it's too heavy. It just looks too heavy.
Right, but they're trying to keep it with that old styling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. I don't like Dodge. In fact, I would pick a Chevrolet over a Dodge.
Well, you got to understand. I throw everything back to, when it comes to cars. Chevrolet. Well, I throw everything back to muscle cars. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for me, that's the golden age of vehicles. You know, 68, 72.
Yeah, but if everything's going to batteries,
it is. Yeah.
Then you know.
But they're going to run faster. I mean, you're going to have unbelievable.
Yes.
You know, so much more horsepower, so much more torque, so much more everything out of a battery operated vehicle.
Yeah, you're right.
But I mean, I tend to throw everything back towards that. So, like, even Camaros, right? Mm-hmm. Like the new Camaros. For me, they haven't changed the body style in so long that I've lost the thrill of that vehicle. Now, I don't hate them. They're nice cars. My buddy John's got an SS that's a badass car. It really is really nice. I've been in it. Okay, it's a nice car. And it sounds cool. It looks cool and everything. I'm not dogging them necessarily, but I keep waiting on them to... Okay, I'll give Ford this. Even though they're keeping a lot of the things similar on the Mustangs, they're innovating them a lot. You know, like that one you posted is a badass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That car's cool. I don't care. Even Chevrolet people, even the most hardcore Chevrolet person in the world is secretly looking twice at that car.
Well,
you know,
I look at the ZL1s.
Yeah.
You know.
See, I'm not a big Corvette person or anything like that. I don't really... How do I say this, dude? Those are almost like given. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody loves the high-end sports cars of these. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. How do I say this without sounding stupid? I like muscle cars. You know what I'm saying? And I know that Corvette's like the ongoing of Chevrolet.
Corvette. Have you seen it? The mid-engine car looks like a older model Ferrari F430.
Oh yeah.
I mean, come on, dude.
Well, they've got those where they're looking like the Batmobile instead of.
And what's crazy is those things are gonna be sold out.
Yeah,
they're gonna be sold out, and they're ugly.
Yeah, I saw a video of that dad prank guy getting his wife bought him 2018, I guess.
Well, they haven't come out with this one yet.
Oh, okay. Well, this one
has not been released yet, but they've.
Oh, I haven't.
They have it's terrible. It's ugly. It's a mid-engine car, though. So that's the big deal. They're like, ooh, mid-engine. But it looks like a Ferrari. You know?
Wow. I mean, let's go back to...
Okay, let's go back to your meal prep.
Oh, I was going back to brand whore, but okay. Yeah,
okay,
meal
let's
prep.
go back to brand whore. I'm cool with that when you think I'm a brand whore.
You are.
I'm searching for a new laptop right now, and this one's an Asus. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually looking for another Asus, I think, maybe. I haven't really made my mind up, but it's going to be pretty expensive because I want to kind of future-proof myself here. And there's a lot of things that I'm looking at. I'm not one to just go to Best Buy and say, oh, this one looks cool, and just buy it. You know, I want to know everything about it. I want something that's going to be able to handle our video editing, and
Well,
stuff like that.
we made the mistake of buying one that you could use as a tablet. You know, I mean, you could fold it over and use it
Yeah.
as in its touch screen and everything. I don't like it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we paid quite a bit for it, and it would do everything, and it still does the things we want to do, but it did some bizarre things without you, some things you didn't want it to do, basically, and you almost couldn't stop it, like when you were highlighting things with it. I'm trying to remember exactly how it was.
Have you tried updating it? Because maybe
Oh,
those
yeah.
issues are fixed.
Well, we had to go online to figure out how to turn this off on it. You know what I'm saying? It was like
Well,
you
that's not a
could
big
dig through
deal.
the settings and shit, and well, for me it is, because I'm a hassle-free
Yeah, but
person.
anything you buy nowadays, you're gonna have to go through the settings. You really do.
Right. But I mean, this is something that was a problem. Like it would, I think we deleted some things by accident because it would highlight things like when you're using the little touchpad mouse thing,
And
and
you
it
hit
would,
another button or on your keyboard and it would delete it.
yeah, it would grab it and throw it away. You know what I mean? You're like, what the fuck? You spend an hour typing some shit and you throw it away and you're
Yeah.
like, you're about to break this motherfucker. You know what I mean? I'm about to throw it in my fireplace. And the fold over tablet option, I used it a couple of times and it was so unhandy. I mean, it's not. No, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a tablet person.
Well, there's
so-
a new computer coming out that has two 4K screens on it. So you have a 4K screen right here, and then you've got one right here. And so you can use them as two different screens or all one flowing screen. Basically, it hadn't even been released yet. But I'm not a brand whore, but I do pick out the most expensive stuff. I can't help it. I have a bad problem, and then I just don't buy anything at all. Which is why this computer right here is a 2011 model. It's doing what we needed to do right now. My other computer is for the editing. It's it's the better computer as far as internals. But my other one's a 2012, and so I don't look for new computers every year, but I will every so often start. Man, I need to edit this video, and now you've got 4K video. Back in 2011, 2012, you really didn't
Right.
have 4K video, so these computers are not made to edit 4K video at all. So when you start trying to edit, it's like no.
Sure. I mean,
So simple
graphics
stuff I
and
can
those kind of
do.
things, I get that. But have you used split screens before? Have you used dual screens and all that shit? I'm sure you probably have.
This
but-
one is not what you're thinking. This one's a all new and exciting kind of computer. It has a screen right here, and it has a screen right here.
Why
and
is
it's
that
seamless.
exciting?
Well, if you're editing, you can. Most of your stuff is down here, and then your videos up here, so you can just make all your or if you're searching the internet or whatever, it's all new. So, with that being said, I'm like, okay, I should wait until that thing comes out, and then I'm gonna see the price tag on it, and then I'm gonna be like, oh, it's like the camera I want, $5,000 camera. I can't pick the $1,000 camera or the $1,500 one or even
you
the
could.
$2,000. Yeah, I could, but I would just regret it.
Yeah.
So I am that guy. Not a brand whore, but I am.
Well,
I want the most expensive thing. I want the best. If I'm going to buy something, if I'm going to spend my money, and I don't like spending money. Period.
I know. So it fights. You got things. You have things battling each other.
Yes.
You end up with nothing because you want the shit that costs the most. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? I'm like,
Yeah, because
It's
then
like-
I'm going to be like, I am not paying $5,000 for a computer.
you
And
live
I've
like the
read
most
this-
frustrating life that's ever been
I
lived.
do. And I start looking at, well, then I don't want to get home. I don't want to just go to Best Buy and then buy something and then get home and be like, oh.
But
this
you're
ain't-
always going to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, no matter what, you're always going to regret technology because you're always like, shit. If I'd have waited 2 more weeks, this badass one came out.
Well,
you know?
in a
I mean,
way, yeah, but I don't regret this phone.
Well, that's
and
why
it's
I
2 years
pulled-
old.
I pull the trigger on shit because I'm just like, it's never going to be a good
I
time.
wish I could be that way.
You know what I'm saying? It's never going to be the right time to come up with to buy a new
Oh no, because
laptop,
when
you
it
know?
comes in technology, it's going to be the next big thing's coming right around the corner.
Well, I like, and I'm, of course, I'm one of those guys, the tweeners or whatever, where technology wasn't always around like it is now. So I want things that are easy, that make my life easier. That's what I'm looking for. I don't care about being able to see more shit at once.
Mm-hmm.
I want something that if I touch it, it waits for me to tell it what I want to do.
Right. You're looking for you're looking for a company that sends you out meals ready made.
Right. Well, my family's no different than other families. We're really busy. Everybody works. Well, it's a little bit different in your family because you don't work, but everybody else does. But that's a
Right.
jab, and you're not even going for it. Anyway,
Well, I didn't want to get off on some other tangent again. You know what I mean? So I just try to not talk
well,
as much.
we're busy, wanting to change the way that we're eating, and a good way for me is I need my options narrowed down. You know what I'm saying? I don't. That's why I don't like Lowe's. You know what I'm saying? I don't like unlimited options. I like to have a few options and let me choose from these. You know what I mean? This is all you got. Pick one.
You have unlimited options at Lowe's? No, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm just talking about
hate
like
Lowe's.
paint colors. You know what I'm
okay.
saying? Or boards or trim
So when
or
you say
whatever.
I need some brown paint, you want them to just say, okay,
Yeah, whatever you
here's-
mix
you want
together to
this
make
brown, this brown, or this brown?
Yeah, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Just give me something. So
give me brown.
yeah, if I want trim for the doors, I want there to be like 3 options. Okay, you got one that's 2 inches wide, one that's 3 inches wide, one that's 4 inches wide. Which one would you like, sir?
And see,
I'll take the 4 inch wide. Thank you very much. Now let me get out of here.
In that aspect, I'm the guy who goes, you know what? I need to look online and see if there's
Well,
some better trim out there.
we end up not doing things if I'm not careful. Just like decorating our house, it still looks like we just moved in. There's nothing hanging on the walls, or because we can't make a decision. You know what I'm saying? So, in the interest of eating, obviously, I have this issue with self-control. So if I limit what I can eat to only shit that's decent for me, and by taking these meals with me, okay, I can limit that. Now, what I will not do, and I've learned this from the past, I'll go buy all this prep stuff, and then on Sunday when I'm supposed to spend 8 hours cooking all my meals and putting all that shit together and putting it in the fridge, by day 3, I don't want to eat a meal that I cooked on Sunday because it's soggy and it's not right, and I don't know anything about prepping it so that it stays good all week. And you know, we've tried 2 or 3 things. Not to mention we get busy on Sunday and not do our prep, and then we're back at square one.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to order. That's what I love about these things. Is I want to find a company that, like, if we're wanting to eat keto, which is kind of what I'm wanting to see. How I've had some pretty good experiences with keto so far. I would like to continue on that, but I want to be on a very strict keto diet. You know what I mean? And pretty well directed at my body type, and take some things into consideration about me personally. You know what I'm saying? So that I'm getting a good result for me instead of just the masses of people who weigh 300 pounds. Because even though I weigh close to 300 pounds, I'm not saying I look good, but I may not look like someone else that weighs 300 pounds. You know what I mean? And it may be a difference in body type that makes me metabolize food differently than this other 300-pound person. So I want someone who's well versed in nutrition and those kind of things like that for different body types to go, all right, man, okay, so you weigh this, you're this body type, you're this age, you know, you're this gender or whatever, and you know, this is going to probably give you a better chance of getting your goal weight by eating this way. You know, are you planning on exercising? You know, I don't have time for exercise. I say I don't. I do, but I won't take the time. Let's put it that way. So we got all these things going on, and I want to make it easier. You know what I mean? I want to streamline this part of my life, eating. You know what I mean? Because whenever I'm left to my own devices at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, if I haven't eaten all day because I've been working at my job and I couldn't get loose to go, well, then when I finally get turned loose at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm not thinking about keto. I'm thinking about what can I go get real quick because I'm motherfucking hungry.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll go to Sonic or I'll go somewhere fast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I'll go to a convenience store and get something out of the hot box, something terrible, you know? So if I've got this option sitting there, I can go, oh, I have this food. I'll eat this. It's what's right here. You know what I'm saying? And I will that way. Now, I'm not saying I want to eventually go, I'm sick of this shit, I'm going to eat something else and go get something that's bad for me. But at least the majority of the time, it helps me stay focused on where I'm headed. So I'm looking for a good company that I don't necessarily have to sit there and have a conversation with a nutritionist every time I order food, but I'd like for some of the things to be taken into consideration because I know they have these companies out there. I've been reading about them. Mm-hmm. But I'm wanting to find one that the food's good because I've been reading reviews online, and some of the higher, you know, the more respected companies, people will say things like, well, it's good as long as you don't get this or as long as you don't eat that. I don't want to run. I mean, I know nobody's going to have everything delicious.
Well, the
but,
bigger the company, the more reviews you're going to find.
right?
So you're going to see the good and bad.
Yeah.
And the smaller the company, you may not see
Not as many people are trying it or whatever.
right, and
yeah.
not as many bad reviews. So it's kind of hard to gauge.
Well, that's where I'm wanting a lot of ideas. Not too many choices, but a few choices, because I mean, you can, if you Google, pre-prepared meals, keto, dude, you will get 8,000 companies. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
you start trying to dig through those reviews and all that. I don't want to do that. I would like to find some people that I know who either currently use this or did, and know what you think about this company.
Or some people that I know, or some people that we both know,
Right.
or some people that are watching or listening.
Well, I would like to get some first, instead of reading some obscure
You think we
review.
have people that listen to us that don't know us?
I hope so.
I would hope so too.
I mean, but I'm just saying in general, if you're out there and
I would like to know about the people that don't know us personally, either one of us.
yeah. Well, there's been a couple of
That are
people follow our Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
our I Don't Drink Coffee podcast Instagram, that are from like New York and things like that. Some of them are fellow podcasters, so you go, oh, okay, I see that. But then there's been, a couple of people that aren't those goofy ass ghost accounts or whatever,
Right.
that are really people. You can tell by looking at their account and looking at their pictures that they're not a computer generated ass,
Right.
let me send you my nudes or some dumb shit, that are listening or maybe paying attention. We have noticed the other day we got a subscriber on Anchor that was from New York City.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I was like,
So they don't know us, because I don't know anybody that lives
Right.
in New York City
no, I don't either.
that I know of.
Yeah, I did not know this person. And then I kind of course, when I saw they subscribed, I'm like, look at these people, see who they are, This dude, it's a comedian. He's not even a real well-known comedian yet.
Mm-hmm.
And he started following our podcast, which I thought was kind of cool,
Yeah.
And he was from, not New York.
Just
but
hoping that
somewhere.
he's not going around following everybody.
It didn't look,
just
when I
so
look at his
for us.
account, I don't see where he's following
A bunch of
10,000 people
Yeah.
or, what I'm saying? I did the same thing. I'm like, what the,
So if you're out there and you're listening and you have any experience whatsoever in the ready-made meals,
let me know, please.
let LJ know. He needs some help.
Yeah, I mean, I'm into it. I would like to be into it. And it'd be a good way if somebody's from one of those companies is paying attention, they could plug it. You know what I mean? I mean, on our little platform here, where people, you might get yourself a little more business. Okay.
Maybe somebody around here does it. I know that I know a guy that was doing it here in McAllister, but I think they sold it.
Well, I know there's a couple of companies one was out of Owasso that someone was telling me about today, that will do that. It's not personal coaching necessarily, but they'll get your information, like your body type and those
tell
kind
you
of things
what
like
you
that.
need.
And they'll give you something that's a little more tailored to you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm looking for. I went to the Choctaws to their nutritionist to try to get this done once.
Mm-hmm.
And this
Well,
lady's like, well, here you
I
go,
don't-
and slid me this piece of paper that's like, eat more vegetables. And I'm like, really? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that makes sense.
I wanted to water it up and throw it at her, like while we were sitting there. Because she's fat, too. Oh, God, she might see this. He's a fat nutritionist, though.
I'm not cutting.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, really? And you go slide him this piece of paper that says, eat more vegetables. Here's the food groups. Don't eat so many of these food groups. Eat more of these food groups. I'm like,
I already know that. Yeah, but when you call one of these meal places, I don't think they're gonna be able to help you on that side of it. They're gonna just say, which plan do you want?
well, but there's
The 4,000 calorie a day plan, or
Well, but I would like for someone to go, I mean, obviously I'm not going to send them a medical history, but I would like for someone to go, well, we have 3 body types for men, and which one would you say you fall under? I'd say, well, I'm more like this right here, and what's your current weight? What's your target weight?
so 3 body types. If there were 3 body types, because you said you just want 3 choices.
Yeah. And
Where do you think you fall?
well, there's like
Do you think you'd fall in the middle
no.
or the third one?
No, I'm the heavier one.
Okay.
Definitely.
I was just asking.
Well, I'm talking
Because
about.
if someone asked me, I would say I fall in the middle.
No, you're the skinny guy. Because you have to try to gain weight. You know what I'm saying? The skinny guy has trouble gaining, and you have trouble gaining weight.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I don't really though.
Well, think about this. Okay, if you don't work out, right, and you don't change anything about the way you eat, do you get more muscular?
No.
Or do you retain muscle?
No.
You stay about the same.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, now I, on the other hand, if I do what I want and I eat how I want, I just get fatter and fatter and fatter.
Well, I do
and
get
fatter.
a little fatter, yes, in the gut.
But I mean, have you ever had a weight problem? No.
I feel like I
on
do,
a
though, every
positive
day.
side. Yeah, but that's just you being a skinny bitch. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You're that lady that looks in the mirror and sees a fat lady whenever she weighs 120 pounds. You know what I mean? I mean, you're that guy. So, but I'm talking about people who legit have, and I'm not saying it's people are different. You know what I mean? Some people gain weight easier than others and all that. And that's just how life is. You know, I mean, it's the hand you've been dealt, so deal with it. And that's what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Mine, like I said, left to my own devices, I just keep on growing, okay? I just get bigger and bigger and bigger. I'll take a few steps back and then get bigger. And I'm getting to an age where I can carry.
You need protein and less calories.
People always say that shit, yeah.
Well, how hard could that be?
Okay.
Is it hard?
It's
not. No, hang on a second. I'm not saying how hard could it be that you can't
It's easy.
slim down. I get that. I know it's not easy. I know that part. It's not easy. I'm just saying when you call a meal plan or these one of these companies up, how hard could it be to just to be like, all right, you know, let's cut out the carbs and let's
Right.
and maybe I'm sure there's more to it. You know, I
Well,
know
like
it's science.
Well,
but
like okay, like if you're eating keto, let's say.
can't you just call them up and tell them you're eating keto, and they just send you out some keto meals?
Right. Well, they can do that, yeah.
Okay.
But you could also say, okay, well, I weigh 300 pounds and I want to weigh 205. And that keto meal is going to be different than someone who's going, I do CrossFit, I weigh 210 pounds and I would like to weigh 205 pounds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that keto meal is going to be
Okay.
different. You're going to get some rice and some other bullshit, or, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they're going to say, well, I don't know if keto's right for you since you're just trying to shape up for a body competition. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm looking for somebody who's going to go, this dude's way overweight, drastically overweight, and he's wanting to get down to what would be considered an average weight for his body type, you know?
Okay.
And there be a path to go down. I need a designated way to go. I can't be left out in the open. I got this way doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because if self-control wasn't a problem, then I wouldn't be asking nobody for meals. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I had an easy time whenever, and like I said, it's easy when we're sitting here talking about it for me to go, you know, I really should eat better. You know, I really should. Well, whenever I'm out there and I'm fucking hungry, I'm not thinking about, really, I really should. I'll think about it, but my inner self going, motherfucker, let's eat.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that broccoli tastes like shit. That
Macaroni.
potato wedge tastes real good. And I know that. So fuck the broccoli. I'm going to eat this. Because right now I'm real hungry and I don't care about tomorrow.
Well, for me, I eat the broccoli and the potato wedge.
Well, but I'm just, you know,
Right.
like I said, it's more of, it's some sort of a mental thing, I guess, that I really don't know where it comes
it's
from
not
or
you-
whatever. But
it's not just you know, that has this. I think everybody really does, honestly.
right. Well,
Because
mine,
anything you can pick apart the way people, you know, live or what they do and what they put inside their body. It's like, okay, so you eat right, but you drink at night. You know, it's like, okay. Or you eat right, but you're also smoking, you know.
Yeah.
Or you eat semi-healthy and you're working out, but you're still dipping, you know. And for me, it's, okay, you eat healthy most of the time, but you also eat shells and cheese like I just did this evening, and I'm going to the beach. I'm going to the beach, and I'm going to go looking like this.
yeah, but you understand that people with real
And I'm
weight
sick
problems
over it.
that don't set at a certain weight like you do, no matter what you eat, are not sitting here going, I feel so sorry for this guy. You know, he's only going to look normal when he
but if
goes
you-
to the beach.
yeah,
Damn.
But if you have a guy
You know?
next to you that's, you know, rock hard and his abs are sticking out of his shirt, he's going to be like, I feel sorry for this guy. because he's going to go to the beach looking like this.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, nobody's doing that.
There's always somebody that's got it worse than you, and there's always somebody that's got it better than you.
Well, if you were 20, somebody might be doing that. You know what I'm saying? But a man, you know, I mean, no, everybody knows, you know, that a man at the age you're getting to be, that
I know it's kind of irrelevant, but I can outrun most 20-year-olds.
Okay,
Put them on the line.
I'm talking about.
Put them on the line.
I'm talking about.
Put a guy
We're
my
talking about
age
looks,
on the line.
though. You know what I'm saying?
Put a guy that's 6 or 7 years younger than me on the line. Put a guy anywhere in his 30s on the line, and I'll outrun just about every single one of them.
Well, I don't know.
And maybe that's irrelevant, but I still. Well, and what I'm getting at is I still feel like I don't feel my age.
Hell yeah! I mean,
And
yeah.
I'm not old, but I'm just saying I don't feel. People my age are like, oh my gosh,
You're getting on up there.
I don't feel like that. I feel like I want to. I mean, I would love to go out there tomorrow and play in a flag football game. You know, I'll put the flags on, dude, and I'll go out there and run routes, or I'll quarterback, whatever you want me to do.
Yeah.
And I'll do a real good job of it.
Right.
Okay? And I don't feel like, oh, I'm too old for that.
Well, no, even I don't. And I'm fucking 60, 80 pounds overweight. You know what I mean? Like, just to get a good start, I need to drop
So I'm
80
just
just to
saying
get.
that everyone's got, so, you know, there's always somebody out there that's got it better and somebody's
Right.
got it worse.
Well, but that's where mentally.
So your issue, I'm not dealing with your issue when I go to the beach. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm dealing with mine,
Right.
and I don't like it. But do I not like it enough to not have that shells and cheese? Which I didn't really even have the amount of calories I'm supposed to have, but I still ate the shells and cheese.
Right.
And it's like,
Yeah, but you got to look at it like this.
and I did go outside and work out today. Hang on. I did go outside before the storm was about to hit because I thought it was going to be raining all night. So I thought, oh God, I got to get my workout in. So I go out there and I'm getting my bar and stuff set up, and I got my music going and everything, and I'm fixing to start, and it starts lightning, and I don't do lightning. You know that.
Yeah.
So I walked my happy little butt right back inside. So I didn't get my workout in today.
Well, but there's some significant. There's like genetic differences in the fact, like.
And I'm making this about me, and I shouldn't, because this is about you. You're wanting help with
No,
your
but I'm
meals.
comparing. I'm trying to get you to understand why I need the help. You know, like for you, you don't see the need for it, right?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all, because I can definitely see, especially when I started this business, when I started Blackline Insurance Group, blacklineinsurancegroup.com,
I think I blew snot on the microphone.
our sponsor for this episode. When I started Blackline Insurance Group, I thought, okay, I'm located in a CrossFit gym. I'm going to work out every day.
Which you don't, but yeah.
Well, I'm going to work out here every day. So, and I come to the noon class. You know, noon class is my class. I love the noon class. Shout out to the noon class that I haven't been at in a long time. There's a lot of new people in the new class. I didn't say nude people. I said new.
I kept waiting on you to say it, dude. I kept thinking you were going to when you were saying.
There's a lot of new people in the noon class. I know.
I was like, "There's a nude class? How much does it cost? You don't have to work out, do you?"
So I came to it the other day, or I was coming down here to the office the other day, and during noon, and I saw that there's some new people, and I talked to my buddy Jim, and I talked to him, and I was like, "Man, there's a lot of new people in here," and he's like, "Yeah, you know, it's not really the same as it used to be, but there are a lot of the same people who go to it." Anyways, so but I don't even. I go off, man. I go off on this crap, and I need to stop. But I'm just saying, I was thinking I need to probably bring me myself a refrigerator down here. Have it, because it's really not feasible for me to work out, and because I don't really like to hang out after I work out. I need a shower. You know what I mean? Like, some people can go back to work without a shower, but I can't do that. You know, and so I need a shower, which there's a shower here, and I thought, okay, I was setting it all up. And I was thinking, okay, but the big thing for me is the food. You know, I'm going to have to eat after I work out because I'm very hungry. And I don't want to have to drive back home.
And you should eat after you work out.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there lies the same thing that I was thinking, or I was trying to get at with you, was I was thinking I need to bring a meal down here for lunchtime. You know, you're going to have to plan it out. Because if you don't plan it out, you're going to go down here to the Sonic, or you're going to go to wherever, you know, and get whatever, and I'm saying whatever and all that.
But
I'm just
imagine
saying,
that on a grand scale. You know what I'm saying? Because let's take 12-year-old Benny and let's take 12-year-old Lukey.
Well,
Okay.
for you, you're way off at your work. You know,
Yeah.
you're in Wilburton, and there's no place really to eat healthy around Wilburton. And if you know, maybe Subway or whatever, and you're going to be eating the same thing every day, and you're going to have to go into Wilburton, and it would, and so it would be so much easier for you to have a meal prepared. I get it. So
Yeah, I can tell you from experience, I'm only going to eat so many salads, and then I'm going to have a mutiny. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I ain't eating a fucking salad today. I'm not. You know what I mean? I've ate salad for the last 2 days. No. You know what I mean? And Subway, if you get anything besides a salad, you are fucking up as far as healthy goes, because
Right.
you got big old bread.
Yeah.
And it don't. I don't give a shit if you get flat bread or if you get.
Well, the flatbread is worse than the other bread. People don't get it because they think flat
Well,
bread. But
I
it's
don't.
worse
If
than
it
the
has
other.
bread in the name, you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
If you get the bun or whatever in the hell that is, and you get sandwich meat on it, I don't give a shit if you get turkey on it. It still has bread wrapped around it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So there's no. You're defeating your purpose. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to get away from. Like you said, no place healthy to eat. What are you going to eat? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can go to Roy's and buy a stalk of broccoli or whatever, you know, but I'm not going to do that, dude. That's going into a grocery store and
Well, there's
in the
so many
middle of
other
the
choices.
day. Yeah, I'm not going to go stroll all the way into a grocery store, walk to the back aisle,
Right.
find the broccoli. Oh, yay, I get to eat broccoli today. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So if I've got the shit where it's, you know what I mean, where I can go, hey, I'm hungry. Oh, I have something right over there that I can eat. And I just go get it out and eat it.
So
you know?
keep doing your research, and then hopefully somebody that's watching. or
Somebody have
listening-
mercy on me and let me know about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of recommendations. I've had, you know, a little bit of feedback, but not near enough.
Right.
So
to
I'd
make a
definitely like to
decision.
hear some more about it. And I'd like to talk about it. We need to get somebody on here. You know, I wish we'd covered a little more with Hardy with nutrition and that kind of thing. Maybe we can have him back on and talk about some things like that. But I'm not really going the direction that Hardy went. I used to want to because I gained muscle naturally, just like genetically really easily. So I always thought, well, he'll go with what you're given. You know, I gain muscle. So and anytime I ever lift regularly, I always lose weight. You know what I mean? I say lose weight. I'll lose down to a certain degree, and then I start gaining muscle mass to where I start finding these middle grounds or whatever. But I start to look big and bulky pretty fast.
I think no matter what, though, you need to be exercising.
I agree with you 100%. 100%.
So find a way.
Well, I have the wrong job for that.
Yes.
As far as
Yeah.
it's
That's another thing.
It's a fairly sedentary job.
I'm with, you know, the noon class is my class at CrossFit. You know, and that was the only class that I've ever been to for a reason.
Yeah.
Because I needed to be at noon. You know, I didn't need to go to noon today, and then maybe 5 o'clock tomorrow or 5:30 class. And then the next day I'm go to the 6 a.m. class, and then the next day no, because then when it comes time to the next day to go to the 5:30 class or whatever, I'm like nah.
Well,
I just needed it to be at noon.
And
you
most
know,
people
or
that
a
are
set
working out
time.
at noon are not either they don't work during the day, they have like an evening shift that they work, or they work some other time, you know, because
Well, it's a lot of their lunch breaks as well, and so they're just like rather than going to
they're right there.
Pizza
so they
Hut,
come,
you know, and so they're coming to getting their workout real fast, and it's only an hour long, you know, at most of the workouts. So, well, they're all within an hour,
right.
you know, all the workouts. So you can always almost you can get back in time for work.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm plugging CrossFit McAllister right now because
Well-
it really is a great setup.
Right.
But not for you because, you know, you're in Wilburton, first of all. And second of all, you don't know when you're going to be home. Your schedule's not the same every day.
never. And that's the consistency part of it. I have a hard time with because,
And you don't feel like working out when you get off work.
right, if you have a job, it's worse whenever you're still all the time. You know what I mean? I'm standing around, or I'm fixing something on this plant, or I'm doing something I'm not sitting there digging a ditch or anything like that. I'm more watching something and making adjustments and that kind of thing like that. So that's even more, for me, tiring than a job where I'm actually working. You know, I would come closer to working out in a job where I'm more busy than I am sitting. It's like I'm more tired from just like mentally wore out. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Now, hopefully either my job slows down or I change jobs, and it becomes more of a possibility. You know, those are things I'm looking at as far as, jobs that appeal. I mean, I'm not trying to go around and start changing jobs all the time and everything, but there's things I'm trying to consider, like the job I have now, it doesn't leave me a whole lot of time to see my kids do stuff, work out, do anything other than work. Like I'll start Friday day and I'll work a 12-hour shift. Okay. And then Saturday I'll work a 12-hour shift, and then I'll work 12-hour shifts indefinitely after that. I mean, I'm going on a short vacation the 18th to the 21st, but other than that, for the foreseeable future, I'll be working 12-hour days until who knows when.
Where
you know
you
what I'm saying? We're going to go to Texas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we can go down there and hang out a little bit, and I think we're going to Six Flags and somewhere else, some water park. I don't even know which one it is now.
Right across the highway.
I don't know. I'm just showing up, dude. I'm just going to be there on the day they said to be there. I mean, we've got everything bought and ready and all that, so we're waiting on it to come up. But now I'm looking forward to some days off because I am, since May the 7th, have had 3 days off since May 7th, and today is July the 10th. Anyway,
okay, so I would like to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
You got other things you were wanting to talk about? You said you had 2 or 3 things, so I didn't know if we'd covered.
Well, I told you all the stories about, Brandy falling and my eye experience and all that shit. So
I want to talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay, I'll talk to you about how they're about to let Westbrook walk, and that's going to be the end of them.
I want to know what your
kind of like the Lakers. You know what I mean? It's like one bad decision after another.
Exactly. And people are like, how come you're not a Thunder fan? I'm like, dude, they've been making bad decisions since day one.
Yeah.
And the Lakers, they made me so mad.
Well, they were good for forever, but
the way they treated Kobe, and not the way they treated Kobe. Well, yeah, it was the way they treated Kobe.
Paying him all that money. I know it, man.
I know, such a shame. But they kind of messed him up, man.
I'll tell you who they're treating bad. That's LeBron James. Okay. Because they're paying him a lot of money, but they ain't got him anybody to play with. You know what I'm saying? Or they haven't had. Let me put it that way. And he can be a one-man show, but not indefinitely. Well, I'm just saying. I mean.
So back to the Thunder.
Okay, sorry.
What do you think?
I think they're going to let Westbrook. What do you think?
Hell, he shrugged his shoulders.
Like it's right here. You see that?
That's referencing our Bigfoot video.
Yeah, very funny. I'm not in it, but it's funny. I think they're going to let Westbrook walk. I think they don't have a whole lot of choices, because he's tired of same old, 11 years worth of it, He's ready to go get a ring, okay? He's tired of being leading the league and things, and there being nothing to gain. I can see it. I mean, you got to give the guy credit. He's not like KD. You know what I mean? I mean, for me, Kevin Durant, I'm not as big on he abandoned Oklahoma City as a lot of people are, but at the same time, it was kind of like, how are you going to lose to these guys and join them the next year? It looks a little chicken shit to me, but Westbrook, you got to give it to him. I mean, that dude has hung in there.
Yes.
For so many years, dude. You know what I'm saying? And try, giving it everything he's got.
And I see people blaming Westbrook for Paul George leaving. I see people blaming Westbrook for Harden leaving.
Yeah, but how can they blame him for
leaving.
Paul George leaving? Because to me, they complemented each other. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I don't blame Westbrook. Now, I don't know. Of course, I'm not in the locker room. But to me, for the Thunder, letting Westbrook go is, like you said, the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
And they're going to be dead for a long time. It's going to be a whole new – it's going to be a complete start over.
They're going to be like the Knicks. You know what I mean? Where the Knicks were terrible for sorry, Wade Morrow, if you're listening. I know he's a Knicks fan, but
he's a Knicks fan.
I'm sorry. But, I mean, the history books don't lie. You know what I'm saying? Go back and look.
I mean, there's no denying that they're terrible right now.
Yeah.
And they're going to be terrible.
And have been
for a long time. Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, I don't blame Westbrook. Now, not being a big Thunder fan, people are going to be like, of course you don't blame him, but honestly.
I'm a Thunder fan, and I don't blame him either. I'm agreeing with you.
I don't blame him, and I definitely am not blaming him.
Well,
for the issues.
you got to hope.
Now, I didn't really like. Sometimes I'm like, man, I don't like his attitude. You know, like off the court. You know, like answering questions, he just don't do it really. You know, just that kind of stuff. Kind of like, okay, whatever. But on the court, there's nobody that plays harder than this guy. Nobody.
And that's what he gets paid to do.
And there's nobody that There's nobody that wants to win more than this guy.
Damn right.
And he may have a little attitude or whatever, but dude plays hard.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nobody in the league that can replace him. You know, that's available for sure. Nobody that's available. So everybody's wanting Westbrook to be gone. Since Paul George left, they're like, goodbye Westbrook. You know, go. You've been running everybody else off, and I don't know that's the truth. But first of all, I may not like the guy if I'm on his team. You know, if I'm Paul George or if I'm whoever else, I may not like Westbrook. But there's no denying the guy wants to win, and there's no denying that he lays it all on the line every time he plays.
Well, you got some of these superstars who don't like playing with him, and a lot of these superstars don't like playing with each other because they take, they steal each other's thunder and that kind of thing. Not to, no pun intended, but I'm just saying, there's always going to be that between these upper tier level players. Right. You're always going to have that battle, I guess, or whatever you'd say. You could say the same thing for the Rockets. You could say,
yeah, but when you look at the Warriors, that's what you've got to have. You've got to have a whole bunch of superstars on a team that's going to win. So if you've got just two and you're Paul George, don't get mad at Westbrook. And like I said, I don't know everything behind the scenes.
That's a difference in culture, though. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at the Warriors. As much as I dislike them, I'm just tired of them always winning. You know what I'm saying? It's like watching the same movie over and over again. I'm like, come on, man, y'all bust this thing up and let's get the NBA backwards, where somebody actually gives a shit about watching the games, because I've lost interest in the NBA because of it. It's like the same team for the last 5 years. Who's going to win the NBA title? Well, big fucking surprise. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't win this year, though.
Well, but I'm just saying how many times before. You know what I mean? It's the same movie over and over again. They're going to lose the first couple of games of the finals, and then they're going to come back and they're going to slaughter them and win the title. Yeah, same thing. So I'm glad to see them fragmenting a little bit, but you got to give them credit and I don't want to get too far away from the Thunder, but this is to the point of the Thunder. There's a culture inside of the Warriors of, when you come here, we want to win. You know what I'm saying? We want to win championships. We're here. We are all, we have all-star players. We got these guys that are phenomenal basketball players, but we don't battle each other for the spotlight. What we do is we use our talents, and that's a credit to their front office, to their coaching, to all these things, these people putting this stuff together, and they go, well, let's get guys that are great, that can play together, that have strengths that flow together, and then and it's obvious in the way that they win. So you look at the Thunder, and it's like they're always hanging their hopes on like Westbrook and one other person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, well, they're going to be great this year.
That's all they have.
And
they make these stupid
They got these
moves.
Nobody has ever heard of these guys they bring in, and they're thinking they're going to find a diamond in the rough, and they never do.
Robertson, when he missed all those free throws in that game a couple years ago.
Yeah.
How many did he miss?
17? I don't even remember now.
17 free throws or something like that, dude. And like right after that, they signed him to a new deal. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Well, and that's the thing about, you got to look at, just like Westbrook.
We're the laughing stock of people are like, how come you're not a Thunder fan? Well, dude, why would I be?
Well,
they're Oklahoma.
Well, they're almost too real, and that's Westbrook's problem, is he's too real in my mind. You know what I mean? Like, if he's pissed off about something, you're going to know it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He don't hide anything. And I think Oklahoma City as an organization, the Thunder as an organization is almost that way. Like this.
I'm just not going to blame Westbrook for this fallout with everybody.
Well, you're a brand horse, or you're always going to like the Lakers because you've always liked the Lakers. So it wouldn't matter if Thunder throw together a team and they win 8 years in a row.
I was trying to like the Thunder with Paul George. I love Paul George.
Oh yeah. But you can't, because you, in the back of your mind, are worried about what the Lakers are doing.
I root for them. I root for the Thunder. I do.
If they were playing the Lakers, would you root for them?
Yeah.
What?
I would.
That's a lie.
It's
You
not
can
the
say
same
whatever
Lakers,
you want.
man. It's not the same
Well,
Lakers as it used to be.
Definitely not.
So it's like,
Everybody knows that. You know what I mean?
and
that
I used to be a huge Supersonic fan. Sorry, Flip.
I just blew snot on the mic again.
He probably stopped listening to this podcast a long time ago.
Well,
once we brought up Thunder.
it's his prerogative, but you know, well, I'm glad we have a team. I don't give a damn who we got it from.
But I don't get people wanting to see Westbrook gone. Good gosh.
Yeah, I mean that's the last hope you had.
They also said the same thing about Kevin Durant. You know, a few years ago before he left.
Yeah, if he don't want to be here, then piss on him.
Yeah, that was all on Facebook, dude. Facebook. Everybody's like, trade him, trade Durant, buy Durant, kick Durant off the team, blah, 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 blah. So the dude goes to the Warriors, right?
And everybody hates him.
And everybody was so mad. I'm like, dude,
well,
no one's going to take you serious when you're acting like that.
It's like any other sports entity, though. If they're not winning, everybody hates everything they do. Yeah, but anything besides winning, they hate.
I know, but don't blame it on your best player.
Well, you got to hang it on somebody. You know what I'm saying? And you know how fans are about that kind of shit. So
I don't know. I just don't.
I mean, imagine the Patriots fans here in the next couple of years if, like, Tom Brady's production starts tipping off. All of a sudden, he's not going to be the greatest of all time in a lot of people's minds.
That'll never happen.
It'll happen. Either that or he'll quit. He'll either start declining or he'll quit.
I'm just saying it'll never happen. But anyways, we're talking about the Thunder. Quit talking about Tom Brady.
Sorry. Anyways, I know because you're a brand or a Tom Brady brand. Or if he went to play for somebody else, you'd probably still be like, well, he's awesome.
So you don't like him?
Who, Tom Brady?
Yeah.
It's like the Warriors. I'm just tired of it, dude.
But you don't like him? I mean?
I don't necessarily have a problem with him per se as a person. You know, I don't sit around and go, Tom Brady's a dumbass.
I mean, do you like him as a player? Take everything else away. Take the Patriots away. Just the guy.
No, not really. I mean, he's a good decision maker, but that's about all I can say. You know what I mean?
So if McAllister Buffaloes wanted to hire Tom Brady as their head coach, or if Tom Brady said, "Hey, I'm going to come put on an NFL camp in Oklahoma City or in Tulsa or whatever,"
I don't give a shit if Jamel Holloway says he's going to put on a camp in McAllister. I would like for someone who's excelled in their particular area to put on a camp. Hell yeah!
Your son to it.
He's not a quarterback. I remember my young son. Hell yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I mean, why even say you don't really?
Well, I like in my own mind, I like athletic quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? And Tom Brady's not really all that athletic. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know what you're saying.
Dude, I could outrun this motherfucker.
The winningest quarterback in NFL history.
But I can outrun him. You know what I'm saying? If you watch this motherfucker run.
Okay, so do you want somebody like him to teach your son in a quarterback camp, or somebody like, I don't know, Russell Wilson? Sorry, Flip.
I'd be fine with Russell Wilson. He has
over Tom Brady.
Well, I like his throwing mechanics better. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
You're high, man.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean,
this Oklahoma weed has got you all messed up. Are you serious?
I mean, well, you got to look at it like this. Tom Brady didn't win all those Super Bowls by himself. You know what I'm saying? He did not.
Okay. So, all right. Okay. I shouldn't even brought this up.
Well, I mean, you think about what else you got to have with Tom Brady.
What do you got to have? Because
another coach?
How many unknown wide receivers has he thrown the ball to?
But you think another coach is going to be able to coach Tom Brady the way that he's been coached?
Why not?
Seriously? Did he win any national championships at Michigan?
Does he need a coach?
Hell no. Fuck no.
Does he need a coach?
You know what I'm saying?
Though?
I'll give that a fuck no. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. So he's not all that great.
I'm saying I'm not saying he's bad. Obviously he's good. I'm not knocking him that way, but I'm just saying like
so he's not the reason.
Okay, like in the combine, for instance, whenever he went through the combine, he was not coming out of the combine. People weren't all that impressed by him. Number one, he's not that athletic. You know what I'm saying? He's not an athlete. Yeah. He's very intelligent, makes some good decisions.
Well, there's a lot of excellent quarterbacks that can't run as fast as him.
Really?
Or
you know what I mean?
Peyton Manning.
He's like the slowest runner ever.
Peyton
you know
Manning.
what I'm saying? Yeah, but I mean, Peyton Manning can at least run. He can outrun Tom Brady.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Have you watched him run?
Peyton Manning? He wasn't that fast either.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, have you watched Tom Brady run? He looks like a newborn giraffe. You know what I'm saying? He's like, the movements are so slow. Now, he makes very good decisions. He's very well coached. His coach makes these teams around him. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can have these.
Well, I'm not
receivers
taking
you
anything
never
away
heard of.
from the coach either.
That's
Definitely not taking anything away from him.
I'm saying
But you
Tom
can't
Brady
say-
is not Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Without some help. Because I'm sorry, dude. I mean, there are excellent quarterbacks out there
tell
that
me
don't
what
win
quarterback-
championships.
Tell me what quarterback is then.
Which quarterback is excellent?
Yeah, without their coach. That can go out there and do it and win it without a coach and people around them, wide receivers and tight ends.
No, I'm agreeing with you 100%.
okay.
I'm just saying, I'm talking about he's no different than anybody else as far as.
Oh, so if you took any other quarterback and put him in Tom Brady's situation in the last 20 years, he's going to do the exact same thing Tom Brady did? Or,
I don't know. I mean, that's a hard call to make.
Know. You don't know? Because evidently you don't watch.
Watch what?
The magic that this dude is capable of doing.
Well, he's not Bugs Bunny. He don't throw the ball down there and run down there and catch it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's not fast enough, no.
Well, I mean, that's a very good point. But I'm
That's
just saying.
the only thing he can't do, though.
But I'm just saying, I mean, to say he's the greatest quarterback of all time.
Well, you got to look at his work ethic as well, behind the scenes. I mean, if that don't inspire you, I don't know what will.
But I mean, I don't think he's any different than any other professional quarterback.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, how is they're all supreme work on their craft 24 hours a day, 7 days a week people. So you don't get to be that level if you're not, you know what I mean? You don't think Cam Newton doesn't work just as hard as Tom Brady?
No, Cam Newton was just in Paris the other day and was trying to pay $1,500 for a front row economy class seat. It's all on video.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Which I don't have anything against that. But he was trying to, and the guy was like, "No, I am not trading you. You're not paying me $1,500."
Well, I'm making examples of any professional quarterback.
And I'm sure Tom Brady was at Paris too at some point in the near future, or the near past. But what I'm saying is, you think all these quarterbacks are packing up a couple of their wide receivers and they're going to the mountains in the middle of nowhere in some really nice cabin, but it's more like a mansion, but going up there and having a mini camp, basically?
Yeah, they all do that.
Oh, they all do that?
Even Tony Romo did that. You know what I'm saying?
I like Tony Romo.
Yeah, I mean, he did it too.
He was a gamer.
And he never won a Super Bowl.
He was a winner.
He won, how many playoff games did he win? Like 2 or something like that?
He could come back and win one if he would do it.
He's a damn good excellent quarterback. Every bit as good as Tom Brady. I'm sorry.
No.
He never is well coached. Never had a team around
that
him
is true,
like
but-
Tom Brady. Never. No. Period. Never. You know what I'm saying? They either had one piece or they had the other. They had really good receivers and no running back, or running back and no receivers.
Look at Tom Brady's wide receivers and running backs in the last however
But they weren't.
long.
They're not coached. Jason Garrett's a terrible coach. I'm not going to sit here and say that. I mean, I can't even. Bill Belichick.
I can't say that
let's
Jason
say this.
Garrett is a terrible coach.
Let me say this. Bill Belichick as a person, I can't stand him. I never want to meet that piece of shit. Okay, I don't like him. Care nothing for him
Because he didn't sign a
sucks.
young fan's
He wouldn't
paper.
talk to some kids. Wouldn't even acknowledge they existed in their children. You know, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but dang, there's a million of them around there. You know?
Guess what? That's like not signing autographs when you're a fucking movie star. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not
it's
taking
like
up
this.
for him, but I am saying there's specific times where you just don't talk. You're in a zone.
No, you're in entertainment business. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's a business, but it's entertainment. So without the fans, you are nothing. If the fans don't come to watch you play, then you won't make any money.
True.
So you need to treat those people with respect. I mean, the average everyday guy needs to be treated with some damn respect, especially children, especially little children.
Well, if he just didn't acknowledge them, he's not like he said, shut up or whatever. He just walked by him.
It's worse. At least then he fucking recognized the fact they exist in the world. They were like, Mr. Belichick, can I get an autograph? And he just kept on stepping like they weren't even talking.
Because he would have stopped and give 1,000 autographs.
No, there was like 10 kids standing there.
Okay, but anyways, let's get back to you
That's why I
thinking
don't
that
like
Tom
him.
Brady.
But now as a
or
coach,
Tony Romo is as good as Tom Brady.
let me put it this way: you put Bill Belichick
And I like Tony
coaching
Romo
Tony
a lot.
Romo, and you think they wouldn't have won more Super Bowls than Tom Brady? Bet your fucking ass, because Tony Romo is every every bit as good or better than Tom Brady as a quarterback. Period. Decision making wise, you think about the shit he had to work with and what he was able to do with it. You know what I mean? I mean, we're talking about a guy who could play. You know what I'm saying? And Tom Brady can play. I'm not ripping Tom Brady. I'm saying there are plenty of guys that are as, I mean, you think Brett Favre isn't as good or better? He's a better quarterback than Tom Brady any old day of the motherfucking week. Any old day. Brett Favre, I'm talking about. Better arm, way better arm. Throw twice as far, twice as hard.
I like Brett Favre. He was a gamer.
I mean, he's straight up. I mean, he's as good a quarterback as Tom Brady, arm-wise. If you'll notice, Tom Brady's arm is on the decline. You know what I'm saying? He's always made his bread and butter off short passes and that kind of thing. Never the deep ball. I mean, they might, but he's no different than I don't know.
Never the deep ball, huh?
Well, I mean, that he's not known for that. He's not a known deep passer like Drew Brees or somebody like that who's, you know, I mean, Drew Brees is known for throwing.
Just because the last couple of years he hasn't been known for that.
Right, because he's getting older, dude. I'm sorry. I'm now he's getting to an age where he's always going to have to throw those under routes and you know, throw the ball.
He hasn't had a wide receiver that could do those long, deep balls.
Right. He's got to, yeah. I mean, without Julian Edelman in the last couple of years.
Well, Brandon Cooks is real
he
fast.
ain't going to do shit without that guy. And Bill Belichick. You take Bill Belichick out of this, and you take Julian Edelman out of this still, and Tom Brady ain't going to do shit. He ain't going to make the playoffs. He ain't going to do nothing without those pieces right there.
We'll be right back.
Let's talk about our next podcast. You're going to be out of pocket here for next little bit. I'm going to be working quite a bit for the next little bit. You're on your phone?
Yeah, I know.
Are you listening to what I'm saying?
Of course. I'm going to be out of pocket.
Yeah, I'm going to be working, so we're going to be a little bit distracted here for the next week or so, but I want to make a commitment, a fresh commitment to this podcast right here in front of everyone that's watching or listening, that Ben and I are going to get a guest for the next one that we do. It'll be a dedicated podcast to some new, fresh information. That won't just be about me and Ben. It will be about the point of view and perspective of the person who comes on next. And we are going to make a real effort to try to make it informative and, you know, to try to be ourselves, which is funny and, you know, somewhat hopefully intelligent in the way we go about it. But entertaining, you know, that's the main thing. We're trying to entertain people. So,
right. Yes.
You're going to cut all this out, aren't you?
No.
You're taking selfies and shit while we're wrapping up the podcast. Okay.
Yeah, for Instagram.
Anyway, I'm gonna make a fresh commitment to it, to the Lord. I'm kidding. Not that there's anything wrong with making a fresh commitment to the Lord. I was just choking, but choking, not joking.
Did you say choking?
Yeah, I'm just choking.
You might choke after making a joke about that.
Anyway, you know, we're going to hit some pretty neat topics with our next guest, and I would highly suggest you guys stay with it and check it out because this next one's going to be a big one. Okay, great big one, real big.
Ooh,
yeah.
My favorite.
The next one will be a big one. So,
for real though, very much so because this whole.
Yes.
Sorry. I had to make a Instagram story with my face.
Okay.
When you said that Tony Romo was better than Tom Brady. But anyways,
I didn't say better than. I
Yeah,
said
you did.
as good as. Rewind the tape.
rewind.
He's as good.
Okay. But anyways,
Excuse me. Go ahead.
this no AC has really messed us up.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
Well, and the commitment that I was talking about. Let's if we don't have a comfortable environment here, we'll select another venue and we will have a
Yes.
honest to goodness, real live podcast with a guest that is more along the lines and in the vein of things we started out with, as far as a fresh perspective. Because the last two we've made is going to be just me and you, and that's
Right.
where that's okay. You know, I want to get some someone else's opinion in here, and we can talk about whatever. I mean, I have a few things depending on what we do next on what I'd like to get some people's views on and that kind of thing. But
when people listen to these podcasts with you and I, they're going to know exactly, especially the people that know us really well. They know now. They see why when you and I talk to each other, it lasts for 17 hours,
right?
Because
Every
we'll
time.
bring up one little subject,
Branch off.
and we'll branch off, and then and then we'll talk a long time about what we branched off to, and then we get back to the Thunder and Russell Westbrook and why I don't think, and you don't either, we're right there with each other on that we think that it was not.
Well, and
I'm not blaming Russell Westbrook for Paul George leaving. And I'm a huge Paul George fan, and I do not want to see him go to the Clippers. I would love to. I mean, if anywhere he's going to go to the Lakers, but
the Nets are going to be pretty good.
I'm not happy with the Lakers either. I haven't been happy with them since they wouldn't hire Phil Jackson as the head coach.
Oh, yeah.
Because their ego got in the way. And so... anyways, but yes, we're going to get back to the way our podcasts are kind of meant to be. And I think what we've done the last couple times, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think it's bad. It's just I was looking forward to, I mean, these things are good between you and I. We do it even when we're not doing the podcast and all that kind of thing like that. And I enjoyed it. It's the main reason for our friendship. But, I mean,
Is it?
I like...
that was my good looks.
That too, but that's my secret reason.
Oh,
don't say that in front of people.
sorry. I'll cut this out. No, I won't.
I mean, getting the cool thing about this thing is like getting to know people, getting to know things about people that we already know that we might not know about those people, getting people we don't know.
Well, we've learned a lot of things from each guest that we've had on,
right?
That we didn't know, And so, and we're hoping that everybody out there that's listening gets the same.
Right. And that's where I'm hoping to create a little excitement in front of, or in people that like I'm feeling about the next
perspective.
No, the next possible guest that we're going to have. You know what I'm saying? That to me is exciting. I mean, when you think about what are they going to say? What are they going to have to say about this? I mean, I've been watching and listening to several different podcasts. Some of them pretty popular ones, and some of them not. And I'm struggling with figuring out why some of these really popular podcasts are so popular. I don't know what causes some of them to pop. And it's not that this thing's about getting popular, but I know that when something gets popular or well-known or whatever you want to say, it's because the content is something that identifies with a lot of different people, or they're entertaining a vast majority of people. And that's what, the joy of this whole thing is getting to entertain people with what, we already like our conversations back and forth, so we could do this shit in private and we'd be fine. Yeah. For years and years and years and years and years.
100 million hours of it.
Yeah. But being able to entertain other people is kind of an exciting thing. It's fun as a person to know that you can entertain someone, that there's something that you might have to say that would entertain somebody.
Right.
So, and that's, the guests that we're having on, that we've had on, that we're going to have on, it's the cool thing about it is they might have a perspective or something to say that's entertaining to me even, I mean, I've been entertained plenty about the people we've had. So,
well, the next couple guests we have, we already know they're going to have a lot of entertaining stuff.
Right.
And
I'm anxious to get to them. I mean, that's kind of,
me too.
Without wishing our lives away, I want to get down the road to find.
And one of them told me he was 100% going to open up. So we have a lot of guests lined up. We have some guests that we want to get because they're not from here, so we want to get them somehow on the computer, sitting over here in the corner so you can see their face, talking to us back and forth.
I've been listening to some podcasts where people are calling in, the guests are calling in, and it's as good if it's not videoed. If it's just listening to a podcast, it's just as good as if they're sitting here with us.
Right.
Because you can still hear their voice. They're still, you're still interacting. You're still doing everything the same. Now as far as like the YouTube part of it, it might be a little bit tougher for those episodes, because it's just going to be us sitting here staring at something or, talking and nothing else happening. But even if you're, I suggest tuning in, whatever you want to say, to our YouTube part, because you get funny reactions. You know, you get to see me being uncomfortable because my belly's poking out, and you worrying about your laugh and all that other shit that we do. You know, but
Goldie sent me a message today, and he said, "Hey, are you guys going to touch base on some stuff that I've seen on your Facebook recently?" And he's talking about the baseball fields and the and the lack thereof.
He's a big baseball guy, so I'm sure that matters to him.
And he's been through that. He's lived through that. He asked me. He said, "So your city, you know, your athletics kind of like where I'm from. A lot of the parents that have money, their kids are the ones that are, you know, getting to play because they're, you know, basically paid to play, you know." And I said, "Not on our baseball team. No, you know, we just went to regionals, and we didn't make it to state. We lost 2 games in a row. We went to the finals and regionals, undefeated, and they beat us twice in a row, and we had to be beaten twice for them to go to state, and all we had to do was win one, and we just didn't play like ourselves." And I know a lot of people say that, you know, they go in the game and get beat, and like, oh, we really.
But you know what your team's capable of,
right? And we made just silly mistakes, you know, and it's their kids, and it's just the way it happened.
That's
for
the
us
beauty
that
of
day.
sports, dude. Is it depends on who shows up that day,
right?
You know,
and they showed up, and we didn't really, you know. And we were actually winning the last game. We were 9-7, I think, at some point, and they just, I mean, I think we were in the 4th inning, or no, we were in the last inning, and they come back and beat us, I think. And then we got up to bat, and we couldn't do anything. But anyway, so Goldie's went through this, you know, and he said, hey, there's parents that, you know, their kids are not very good, but they're getting to play because their parents are rich or they got money or whatever. And I said, well, that doesn't happen on our team.
I haven't really seen that in this town. I mean, and I'm not the greatest fan of the way sports are done in McAllister, but I don't see, in my own experience, I don't see that a whole lot here. I can't speak for you know, other people's experience, but in my personal experience.
And so he read this big long Facebook post that somebody had posted here in McAllister, and I shared it, and then there were some other people that commented on it, and so we're going to get more in depth on that too. He wants to know, but the thing why we haven't touched base and I haven't even brought it up is because I want to learn more about it. But
if we're talking about what I think we're talking about without spilling too much, the guests that we've talked about, if we can get that to happen, dude, would be, I personally wouldn't. I can sit over in the corner and just listen to what they have to say.
Well, that's basically what I think we would do.
Yeah, dude, because I mean, it's, even if you don't live in a town, you can identify with this situation that's going on around here. And I'm pretty excited to get to that.
Me too.
You know, I think that's kind of a cool, anybody that's either played ball or have kids that play ball, you know, I mean, you're going to have people out there that, we don't play sports, we do this or do that. But I mean, anybody that is involved in sports in a town per se, you know what I'm saying? Like in a specific town. I'm not talking about traveling teams and different things where kids are from different towns and they go around playing ball. I'm talking about, you know, in this type of setup, it's going to be something that people are going to want to talk about and that they've experienced on some level, one way or another, you know? I mean, I've experienced that crap a little bit in Wilburton, and my kids never went to school in Wilburton, you know, and that was on traveling teams. But sort of, you know, well, Wilburton athletics was so bad for a long time, dude. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's getting better, but there were a lot of years, dude. I gotta say,
What do you think about this whole situation with the superintendent over there?
I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know.
But you've heard about it.
I haven't heard anything about it.
Evidently, the superintendent was going around, and there's been a couple of people that have recently graduated, have come out and said that the superintendent told them who to vote for the school council.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And threatened their diploma.
Damn.
Threatened jobs.
Wow.
And I don't know, I haven't read into any of the kids' names, so I don't know any of them that have actually accused the superintendent of this. but it's being shared a lot. A lot of people have an opinion on it. And my opinion is that at first it just didn't seem real.
Dude, that's something wouldn't mind covering this little deal we're talking about too.
You want to read into it first before we talk about it, or do you want to just talk about it right now?
Well, I mean, I would like to have maybe a guest, somebody
Okay.
from Wilburton, somebody that's close to all that going on.
You know, because they just had the school council.
Well, see, I mean, I know enough people, and so do you, that are at the age of having kids that are in school, especially at the age you're talking about, who are either going to graduate in the next few years or have graduated recently and that kind of thing, that might be close enough to it to speak on it.
Well, they just voted, and they just got a new Miss Mooney won. She was up against Lance Mathis.
Oh yeah, I've
NC
seen.
had went before, and I guess they had said that it was the results were inconclusive, I guess, or something happened, and they had to have another vote, a runoff, or I'm not real sure. I haven't really read much into it, so I may sound like.
Well, see, that for me, I would like to have people that are closer to it to kind of, because here's the deal. Anytime, especially this day and age with technology and that kind of thing like that, the quickest thing somebody's going to say if they lost is it was rigged.
Right.
And it's going to gain traction real fast because everybody's going to share it on Facebook. I'm not saying one way or another.
Well, what I read,
I don't mean to
what I
speak
read
on
is
it,
that
but-
she was saying to vote for Lance.
Oh yeah, that's one of them things. I mean, I know Lance
Mm-hmm.
personally, and I mean, of course, I'm not even close to that situation. I couldn't even say one way or another whether Lance would. I mean,
Well, no one was accusing him of anything. It was
But-
accusing the superintendent.
yeah. And see, I don't even know who's superintendent at Wilburton anymore. I mean, the last one I knew was Buddy Enos. You know what I'm saying? That's been a long time ago.
I love him too.
But
Good dude.
But I mean, I'd be interested in finding out some more about that. I mean, because like I said, it's like a Anytown USA type
I'm shocked
thing,
because anytime I bring up something to you, you already know about it.
Well, I mean, I try to stay in the loop about a lot of things. Wilburton, unfortunately, is not that I have anything against Wilburton as a town. But, like I read our local paper here in McAllister, and it don't really talk that much about towns as far away as Wilburton. I mean, they'll talk about
Right.
some like Canadian, some other towns that are
I
real
keep
close
saying
by,
I'm gonna subscribe to the News Tribune over there, Latimer News Tribune.
Well,
I still haven't done it.
Well, and as we're wanting to talk about these kind of things, if we're going to talk about them intelligently, we ought to do a little more homework,
I know.
like you were saying.
Well,
I mean, I agree with you.
when I brought it up, I was thinking you would know about the situation.
Damn, dude, I wish I did because it's
I've
kind
just
of.
seen people share it, and I'm like, and I kind of skim over it, and their senior just graduated says that, and my first reaction was like, come on, man. And I don't know, but since this person come out, there's been other students come out saying the same thing, so I'm like, all right, I don't know, I still don't know. It just doesn't sound. I just can't see a superintendent pulling a student out of class and saying, listen, you have to vote for him because if you don't, I'm going to call your boss and you're going to get fired because I know Patricia Donnelly. One of the students worked at the railroad and said that she said that I know Patricia Donnelly. That's what I read. I'm just saying what I read.
It seems like a lot of.
And I know Patricia Donnelly. I know the Donnellys. I used to work at the railroad. I still kind of do in the police department. So I'm like, I mean, when you start throwing names up here, out there, you're thinking, a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, well, Patricia Donnelly told, her that, hey, you need to get your students to vote for, this guy because if they don't, and I'm like, come on, there's no way that superintendent's gonna call and tell Trish that hey, guess what, he voted for Miss Mooney, or he voted for the candidate that we didn't want him to vote for.
Right.
So fire him.
Well,
so that don't make sense to me.
I mean, you got to think about what's at stake versus, in my mind, that's the way I'm going to rationalize it is what do you have at stake? I mean, what's riding on this particular election, no matter what it is, because no matter how menial something might seem, it's important to somebody. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Lance wasn't trying to get on there for no reason.
Right.
So, and I don't want to necessarily dismiss being a member of the school board in Wilburton. I'm not trying to say that at all. But what I mean is, anytime there's an election, I don't give a damn what you're getting elected for. There's going to be something along those lines being done on some level. You know what I mean? I mean,
True.
maybe not threatening, but there's going to be people are going to insinuate, hey, hey, we're friends, and I like yada yada yada. So don't you think you should?
Right.
And so there's always going to be a certain amount of that.
A superintendent pulling a student. What would your reaction be if you saw that she's being investigated by the OSBI?
Well, if I was involved in it, like if it was my kid.
No, let's say you read it just like I did. Would you have the same reaction? Would you think this seems too far fetched?
Probably in the beginning, I'd think, well, somebody's sore about losing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that about Lance. I don't
No,
want
I know
anybody
that.
to read that into
Right.
it. I'm saying no matter who, if I didn't know
Well,
any
it wasn't-
names.
but it wasn't anything about Lance. You
Right.
know what I mean? It wasn't anything about him.
Well, and what I mean is, if this was in Pennsylvania, if we were talking about a school board election in Erie, Pennsylvania,
Right.
and I didn't know anybody, I would think that sounds like somebody's mad about losing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I tend to have, I'm not a negative person by nature, but I tend to maybe think people are up to things right off the bat. You know what I mean? Because in my
Yes.
experience, most of the time they are.
They
So, that's the way I would look at it from the jump. You know what I mean? My knee jerk would be, well, somebody's pissed off about losing, so they're saying they were trying to rig it, and that's why I didn't win. I was obviously better, and somebody cheated me out of it.
Yeah. This is a superintendent. She wasn't running.
Right. But I mean, most of the time, those kind of things, they want certain people in there because they're trying to get certain things done.
Well, that's true. And the first thing I thought of was, is there any proof? I mean, did she write this stuff down? I mean, you're never going to really be. It's a he said, she said type situation, but they're investigating it in the OSBI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and would I be surprised if it turns out to be true, or if they find out, or they think
Oh no,
that it's true? Would I be surprised? No,
Not at all.
I'll be like, oh, okay.
right.
Because it's like anything else. I mean, if you're going to be working side by side with someone to try to, if your interest is getting an improvement done in, let's say, Wilburton, since we're talking about Wilburton, if you're trying to make something better in the school system, you're going to want like-minded people on that board where you guys can together
Absolutely.
get to a certain point. So,
Yep. Same in any election,
Right.
Mayor, city councilman,
Yeah.
Any kind of election, any kind of board, on any kind of business, it's all the same.
yeah, you want it to run as smoothly as possible to
Right.
get to where you're trying to go with it. You know?
And I get that. It's just kind of hard for me to see a superintendent pull one student or two or three or four. I mean, what are those votes? You know what I mean? I mean, you're risking a lot of stuff here. You're risking a lot to just get your council member.
And that's what I
your
mean
board
about
member.
that. That's where you go. It sounds, I hate to say this, but in my initial reaction is like, these people don't realize, these kids don't realize what these accusations could possibly mean to someone if they turn out to be something true. That's why you got to be careful about. I watched a video of Neil deGrasse Tyson today talking about, not about quantum physics, but he was talking about, they asked him, do you believe in UFOs and do you believe we're, in extraterrestrials? And he's like, the worst system in the world is eyewitness testimony. It's like the worst thing you can rely on, because a lot of times it's based on something that somebody doesn't understand. So, but it's in court of law. That's our main way of establishing what's true and what's not. So all I can say is if your superintendent pulls you out of class at all, turn your phone on. You know what I mean? Or be recording it or something like that. I mean, chances of that are slim to none. But
Yeah, maybe somebody did. I don't know. I mean, there's more students coming out saying that it happened. I think 3 or 4.
well, there you go. I mean, 3 or 4 are saying it. What if there's?
I don't think the superintendent's well liked either. So people are like, stuff I've heard about her. This doesn't surprise me at all. So I don't know. I don't know. I just really, I hate bringing it up, not knowing much about the story other than what I've told you, which is nothing really. I just know the gist of the surface. I haven't really dove into it. Or anything,
it's going to be hard, like like anything else like that would be, especially in a small town, to find someone that would talk about it objectively. You know what I mean? Because they're all going to have an opinion. You know, I mean, they're
Well,
going to.
both people are well liked that
Yeah.
that ran. You know, Miss Mooney was my kindergarten teacher, and one of my favorite teachers. She taught me the alphabet.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, she taught me how to the little belly and the big belly on the capital B. So I remember it. I hit her in the head with a book.
I'm not surprised.
I threw a book across the room and hit her in the head.
Did you get that ass paddled for
You
it?
dang right I did.
You should.
And it was a complete accident.
Throwing the book was an accident?
Well, I had it in one hand, and I had another book in the other hand, and I had my arms, which the camera has stopped again. So I had my arms out, and I was twisting,
Yeah.
right, twisting, and I accidentally let go of one. And when I did, I looked, and it was just boom, right in her head. And I guarantee you, she remembers it.
Did she paddle that ass?
Yes, she did. And still
Don't be-
one of my favorite teachers.
Don't be throwing books in class, little Benny.
Right, exactly. And I told I told my mom I regretted it as soon as it left my hand, and it was true.
Yeah.
But she said when I was, kindergarten, I was like, I regretted it as soon as it left my hand, I knew. I think she was bent over her desk or something, dude. She didn't see it coming. She did not see it coming. But, well-liked person, Miss Mooney, great teacher. Been doing it forever. Been in the school, been a teacher for a long time. And Lance, well-liked person. I've
Does
never
well
heard.
in my personal experience. I mean, he's got a really nice. He started his own company.
Yes,
it
he's
does
doing
well.
really well.
He kept it local.
Mhm.
He could have moved to any number of towns and started that business somewhere else, but he
Yeah.
keeps it right there in Wilburton.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm not leaning his way one way or another over Miss Mooney.
Well,
I don't mean that.
We're not
I'm
in that
just,
situation.
Right.
We don't even live down there.
I'm just trying. All I'm doing is illustrating
And I've
kind
never
of what
heard-
you were saying.
Right. And I've never even heard anything bad about him either.
Right.
And even since it's come out, I haven't heard anybody blaming him. And I didn't even know it was him. And that was really the first thing I was wondering. I was like, well, who was these kids supposed to vote for? And then I read another article and it said, vote for him. And I was like, okay, well, it didn't really matter to me because I was like, either way, I'm not going to believe that they had anything to do with it. I'm not going to believe that Lance had.
I don't know how I missed this. That's
and
what I still haven't figured it
And I
out.
wouldn't believe that Miss Mooney would have that to do, or would say that or have that happen. Hey, tell these kids pull some kids out and get us some votes. I just can't see either one of them doing that.
Right. Well, you can look at it a lot of ways, and there's really no way of knowing. But I'm sure it happens. I'm sure
And I
it's
really
happened.
didn't even want to go this deep into it, and I know we really haven't went deep into it, really.
No, we've kept it pretty.
But I didn't really
surface.
want to talk about it all this time, and you not even heard about it beforehand. I was
I know,
hoping you
man.
knew more than me about it.
Nah, and generally I try to, and I don't watch the news, so
It was on the news.
But I try to keep up.
That's how big this thing is. It's on the news.
Yeah. Well,
Channel
I'll
8,
look
Channel
at
6, I think Channel 2.
I have Channel
I'm thinking
6's news
one of
app.
one of those channels, anyways.
and I'll scan through that news app every now and then,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like watching any news at all.
I don't either.
I don't enjoy television. Televised news is a joke to me now.
Yes, I
so, I try to stay out of that. That's why I like reading getting the news apps, and then I can kind of pick through. Oh, that seems interesting. I'll read
Right.
that.
Yeah.
That kind of grabs my attention, and I'll read that. Not this big. They don't vomit the same shit that somebody on another channel is vomiting on me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this way you can at least select if you're reading. And I'm a reader. I like to read, so it's it's not that big of a deal for me. I don't have to watch a video on it.
Right.
But yeah, I've been interested to find out how it turns out. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm curious to see. Something tells me nothing's going to happen.
Well, and I've been interested in what's going on with Wilburton schools, especially in their athletics program. Even though I wasn't a big athlete in school, as far as, I wasn't an exceptional athlete and didn't do anything great or anything like that. But being involved in it and knowing how important it was as a whole, and then what it got down to at one point, I mean, I know some people that, and you're going to hear this from people that moved their kids out of a school, and they're going to go, well, we moved them because the athletic program sucked and nobody wanted to do anything about it. And, and there again,
Well, then you
rumor.
want to hear specific stories. You're like, okay, well, tell me more.
Well, these people did, I mean, they said, hey, I
Well,
went and talked to.
I think I know who you're talking about, and I think I heard a little bit about it too.
Yeah, and they were like, hey,
Going to Red
we
Oak?
went with them.
Talking about Red Oak?
Yeah. We met these people, and we're legitimately trying to make this program better because we're from this town. We want this town to be our town. But it fell on deaf ears. Everything they tried to do was like blocked. No, we ain't worried about that. We're not worried about this. We're directing money towards that. They're just kind of threw their hands up. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. I mean, as far as where you take your kids to play ball, it's a personal choice in my mind. Am I mad about them moving from Wilburton? Not particularly. I mean,
just wanted to know why.
Right, and in the state of the athletics in that town, it's hard to say that it's not in as good a shape as it was when I was there because we weren't winning any state championships or anything like that. Now they had some good teams after us and some teams before us that were good.
Yeah, but did you have people that were upset with the athletic program back then? Not that I knew of.
No,
not when I went to school anyway.
Well, you're kind of a long ways away from it unless you got kids in school. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you get kids that are school age. When I was 19 years old, I didn't give a damn what they were doing with the athletic program in Wilburton. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was more interested in drinking beer and chasing girls.
Yeah.
But knowing what I know now, you go, well, with the town you came from, you'd like to see it do well. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I still want to, I love when Wilburton does well.
Yeah. I mean, I would love, nothing would make me happier than for somebody to go, where are you from? And be like, I went to high school in Wilburton, and them go, oh yeah, they got a hell of a football team or a basketball team or a baseball team or whatever, instead of, whoo boy, you know what I mean? And for years you got that sometimes, and it's hard to say it was from coaching necessarily because they went through a lot of coaches.
Yep.
A lot. You know what I mean? And that's a bad sign to me also. Whenever you roll through a lot of different people, like every year, every other year, you're changing coaches. That, that to me points at, who's doing the hiring here? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, if you can't keep this guy a year or two, and what are you basing your decisions on when you get rid of him? That kind of thing. So
I think a lot of it nowadays, too, is parents.
Yeah, I mean, but that's always been the thing, I mean, even whenever I was in school, I was aware of certain parents having a certain opinion about things, and I've seen a dad come in and shut the coach's door, slam the coach's door, and then they be in there for a little while, and then dude comes out and leaves, and then the coach makes you run a whole lot more because he's pissed off, that kind of thing. But
well, I think a lot of people are. The first thing they want to blame is coaches, and I think it's not really that.
Well, it's like I was talking about the insurance thing. He's the face of it. You know what I mean? I mean, he's the first thing that whenever you think about basketball, you think about this guy because he's the head coach. You know what I mean? You're like, well, this dude. Of course, there's an athletic director out there, but this guy is coaching. He's directing these kids to play this way, so he's going to be the first person you blame.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, you're in a bad spot as a head coach. I mean, it's a good spot, but it's a bad, you got to prove yourself pretty quickly or, there's going to be issues or whatever. But from a perspective of...
But McAllister's lost a lot of coaches this year. They lost every coach they had.
Right. Well...
Every coach.
And I look at it...
Except the girls' basketball coach.
Well, I look at it as a culture change. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm hoping... Inside of myself, I don't know any of the board members. I don't know really anybody inside the school system. I don't know these coaches that they got rid of, and I don't know the coaches that they've brought back in. But whenever you have that sweeping change like that, somebody's wanting a culture change. You know what I mean? A group of somebody is going, all right, man, we've had it with how these things are going. Let's get a fresh start here. Let's get new faces in here and see if we can't build on something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's get a new tradition because our traditions are going the wrong way.
Yeah, but I think one of the coaches left because of the parents.
Right.
Really good coach. Really well respected, except some of the parents didn't like him for whatever reason. And I don't know the story behind it. I do a little bit, but I'm not going to, I'm not going to be the the one to spread that kind of stuff around, So, but one of them, the parents, they he don't like my kid, and I get it, because if some coach didn't like my son, I would not be happy about it. You know what I mean? But like another coach has told me, he's like, you gotta, he goes, I've had a lot of parents come to me and say, well, ready to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So what did your kid tell you? What's your kid's side of the story? Well, Well, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
So,
but that's the nature of the beast. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah.
I mean, when you're
It's
taking
life.
that role, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. Anybody that's ever played ball knows that bitching parents is a part of it. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
but if you're a bitching parent, you need to, before you go want to knock the coach's head off, get the story straight first.
well, but it's
You know?
it's kind of like I was talking about that one time about the kids that are going to fall by the wayside. Because of the way they're raised. That's a culture in the home. You know what I mean? If your kid isn't, if your kid's good, let's put it this way: if your child is talented, think about what you know mentally about kids that you've either played ball with or that you've watched play or those that you actually know. Most of the time, mentally, not all the time, but the really good kids, I'm talking about excellent athletes, usually are mentally tough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're the kid that knows you're out here running till you puke because game night, you're going to be better than the guy across from you. You know what I mean? They recognize that they've either been raised or they are just the type of person that sees this not as punishment, but as this man is trying to develop me. He's trying to develop us. I'm not saying a coach is always right. I don't mean to say that. I don't mean to say that they're always wrong.
Right.
But I'm talking about children, and that's what they are, dude, even after they graduate high school. I know I graduated high school before, and I was still a child when I graduated, very much so.
Same.
It depends on if a parent is going to go, I think you're being too hard on my son, then there's already that, you've got that mentality at home of, well, they better not pick on my son. You've already been telling him, if that coach tells you this, don't you do that. You know what I mean? That's whenever a kid's going to start, he's going to even notice that somebody's harder on them than not. You know what I mean? Because gifted kids or even kids that aren't gifted necessarily, that are tenacious enough to be good, even if they're not as talented as somebody else, they're not concerned with how much is this man yelling at me, how much is this man making me run or whatever. They're concerned with, I want to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And what am I doing wrong to make myself having to, or for him to make me run?
Because if you're real
Let me
good,
fix this.
if your team is counting on you, if you're one of those players where your coach is like, did you make a difference when you're out there? Not that you win the game by yourself, but there's a difference in the way the game is being played when you're out there.
Right.
If you're that kid, the coach is not going to set you on the bench, bro.
Right.
Unless you're being completely a little ass.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in you're in charge of your own destiny, dude. Even when you feel like you're not, you are, because you got decisions to make every day. I can't blame somebody for being. I can't even blame my genetics for me being fat. It's decisions. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be fat.
Right.
I've been making them decisions. So as a coach, in my own personal opinion, if you're influenced that heavily by what the parents are saying, then maybe you ought to choose maybe a little different line of work. Maybe it don't agree with you. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're going to be the head of anything, if you are the leader of anything, opinions can't sway you that hard one way or another. You can listen to ideas. There's nothing wrong with listening to someone, but you can't if you are allowing yourself to be dissuaded completely, dude, maybe it ain't for you. I'm not saying you're not minded, you're not smart in the sport, you don't know how to teach someone. I'm saying there's certain aspects of any career that you get into, I don't care what it is, that are going to be distasteful, and if you're going to be a professional at something, and that's what a head coach is at a high school, I don't care. You're a professional coach. It's what you do for a living, just like professional football players or any other thing. There's a mental side to that's got to be in play. or you're going to fall by the wayside, and you'll be, you want to coach at McAllister? No, well then you'll be coaching. God, I don't know how to say this without it sounding like I'm ripping on somebody, but I mean, you either won't be coaching or you'll be coaching somewhere really small where people are just glad for you to be there. You know what I mean? And I don't mean nothing against small schools because they're important too. And Class B or whatever you want to say, those they have good athletes, good programs. Not saying anything
for
bad.
sure.
But being a coach in McAllister in this part of the world is a pretty big stage. I mean, nobody else around in this area anyway has a radio show where the head coach talks on it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a pretty big stage, and you mentally got to be there. Mentally. I keep saying mentally, but I'm just saying.
It's so hot in this room.
I've forgotten because I'm sitting here ranting about shit. But
well, I got off on that subject because we just wrapped up baseball, and I know that Goldie had sent me a message today about talking about what we had talked about on Facebook a couple weeks ago, and I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm not giving up on it. I know baseball's over, but that is not going to stop me from trying to get to the bottom of this whole baseball field situation. The complex being built and not being built, and what reason and why it did not. And I said that already, what reason, but.
Well, my children won't even partake in it, but at the same time, just from being a human being, I guess you'd say, I'm curious about it too, because I live around here. I kind of
you
know.
Want to see it being built too.
Yeah. I mean, I know some of the circumstances that go into it, and I'm a very big, I guess you'd say, a proponent of kids athletics. I'm huge into it, so the kids that are coming up that I don't even know, are going to get to play potentially on these fields and have the pride that goes along with, having something new, nice, not even necessarily new, but something nice, enjoyable to have. You can feel a little bit of a sense of pride in it. It's like getting new uniforms or new cleats or whatever. When you feel like you look good, then you're a little bit better than you would have been, so I think it helps everybody. I mean, I can't speak to the financial side of it necessarily because I'm not involved in that part of it. But
we're gonna get to the bottom of it, and we're gonna hopefully have a couple guys on here that can help us. At least one of them for sure, help us understand. I mean, that person wrote a big long, post or message on the post. He commented on the post, and I read it, and it's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm sure there's more to the story, and I would like to get to the bottom of it, the whole thing. And what better way,
I'm very interested. Yeah.
So I know when I called you up, you knew more about it than I thought you knew, and I was happy for that, because I was like, I thought I was fixing to have to talk you into like agreeing with me to have somebody on here about this particular situation, because I'm like, dude, it is a big deal. It is a big deal for the whole area, but it's a real big deal for the city of McAllister.
Yeah.
And it's something that
Well, I tend to be a very open-minded person as a whole. I like to think of myself as that, so it's easy for me to grab onto I guess you'd say, the argument or the controversy that's surrounding it. You know, I mean, it's easy for me to slip into that. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm interested.
So, man. I just want everybody to know, I know we went on that big rant, and I just want everybody to know that I'm not giving up on it. Even though baseball season's over, it's really now.
Is it ever really, though? You know what I mean?
No.
That's like us in football season.
Well, we're fixing to go on to football season,
Well, it doesn't end.
We start practicing.
For us.
No, it don't end for us either. I mean, when Casey and I work out, out in the yard, we're doing football stuff, football drills, baseball drills, and basketball drills, along with the workout.
Yeah.
And then we're going to add some, football related and baseball related and basketball related. So, he gets a break, of course, from, having to practice baseball or practice basketball, which he don't really mind practicing basketball. He loves basketball more than anything. But, I give him a break. It's not like we're like every day, like, okay, we're out here doing football drills and basketball drills, it's not that at all, not even close. But when we do work out together, I like to implement a little bit of everything in there to kind of keep it fun for him, and we keep,
Well, that's definitely one of the
everything
things.
fresh.
When my kids were Cason's age, one of the big things I think that kept them going was that I was interested. I was involved. And if they wanted to be a better athlete, I wanted to get them either what they needed or the coaching that they needed or the places that they needed to go to be better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, giving them those opportunities like you're talking about when you're working on things and they know you're specifically working on, hey, let's do this because it's going to help you whenever you're doing this.
Yeah.
When you show that kind of interest, it coming from, in a father's role, especially, in my life for sure, and yours as well, as far as what I've observed, when it comes from that, these guys look up to us, man. I mean, and as well they should, a father to me is supposed to be that. So, when they say that interest, it drives that love of the game, or what, if they even have a like of the game, when they see that interest and they know that they can feel some pride or that they're making you feel, better or that you feel good about how they're getting better, then it drives them to be a little bit better. And that's what we're trying to do, make our kids better people.
Right.
So,
yeah. And I remember when, your kids were younger, way younger. And, when we've talked about this several times, but when I would call and say, hey, man, do you want to go to Tulsa shop for clothes or whatever? I don't even know. I never even, but whatever. I don't even shop for clothes, but
yeah.
You want to go do this? I got to go to Tulsa, or I got to go whatever. And you'd be like, man, I got practice. Kids got practice. Well, when I grew up, me growing up, my parents didn't come to my practices. Nobody's parents came to the practices.
Yeah.
You got dropped off and then you got picked up. Nobody came to the practices. And and for me, it's I'm right there, right where you were, because I used to think, well, you can't just miss this practice.
Why in the hell are you going to every practice?
Yeah, why are you going to practice? You go, dude, I don't miss any practices, and I didn't understand it. I thought, dude, let the coaches coach, and I don't miss any practices. Yeah. I miss 0 practices, and I'm, I kind of help coach a little bit, on football and baseball and not really basketball, but I help coach a little bit, So, but if I weren't, I would still be there, watching.
Oh yeah. Well, you're interested. You want to see how they're developing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it was so weird, how things change, because I'm right there with you now. I'm like doing the same thing. People were like, "Hey Ben, you're gonna go." I'm like, "No, dude, I got practice tonight." What?
Yeah. Well, and in someone's eyes who either doesn't share our perspective on it, what I mean? They don't look at it the way we do, or that doesn't have children that are playing or something like that. It's hard to grab onto, that it's not, there's no sacrifice. It wasn't, I didn't go to those practices. I didn't sacrifice my time. You know what I'm saying? I think it's funny. I hear people say that, well, I sacrificed my time to come out here and blah, 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 blah. It's never felt like one wasted moment to me.
Me either.
To watch my kid practice a sport, and that still to this day, and I've had plenty of experience now because my oldest son's fixing to be 17 years old in this month. Okay. And he's a damn good football player. Now, I'll say it out loud and proud, and I'll prove it too. If you don't believe me, come out on Friday night. You're going to see.
He definitely is.
This dude can play.
Yes, he can.
And I still, to this day, I have no regret. I have plenty of regrets in life, but any fraction of a moment I spent even thinking about how to help them was never wasted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even in baseball, and they both ended up abandoning baseball on me, I still don't regret it. Still don't regret getting out there and having batting practice with them and playing catch and, and developing them, doing what a dad does. You develop them as a child. You give them a male figure to look at, so they kind of figure out. I don't want them to be just like me, but I'm saying, being an involved father, by God, when you grow up, what I'm saying? And I'm not there again. I don't want to get too opinionated on it, but I mean, it's part of, in my mind, how you be a dad. And how other people choose to be a dad, that's your business. But I'm just saying, I don't regret it. And anybody, and we talked about it a long time ago before Kason was old enough to play football, and you're like, what's your experience been with it? What do you think? And I'm like, dude, I'm 100% in.
I asked a lot of people that question.
And there's been people that were even coaches that were like, nah, man, if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't have my kid play as a little kid.
Well, I sit by a coach, a head coach at a high school at a OU game. And I was like, hey, man, what do you think? I said, because I ended up talking to him, a bunch, of course, because I talk to everybody. And so I was like, oh, yeah. And he was like, I said, so when do you think a good time is to start? And he said, man, probably around 7th grade. And then you talk to other coaches and they're like, dude, unless he's a freak of nature, unless he's just going to, he's just another LeBron James or another, Tom Brady, then you need to start him way earlier because he's going to be way behind. And I 100% see it,
Yeah.
Now, I
And
don't
see,
know.
and as I tend to do, I overthink things. But for me, it was even as little kids, like we started playing, we had the boys play, and me and their mother made this conscious decision to start them at 4 years old playing baseball. You know what I'm saying? Playing T-ball. But I mean, at 4 years old, both of them started. It was a conscious decision that we made, but it ain't about ball for me. You know what I mean? I mean, I've had my own kids come to me and cry because they didn't want to play something and they were afraid I was going to be disappointed, which it kind of breaks your heart in a way, but in another way you think, man, maybe I'm doing this right. When it matters, when what I say or think matters to them that much, that's the kind of connection I want to make with my kids. Not that I want to guilt them into things. That's not what it's about. But the ball, that's what I had to tell them. I'm like, dude, it's not playing ball that we're talking about. I'm not trying to make you into a professional football player. I didn't start you out playing in the 3rd grade playing football so you could learn to be a professional football player. I'm trying to make you a man. One of these days, you're going to be a man, son. And the earlier I can get you into being responsible to something greater than yourself, to think about a team of people. That way, whenever you're a man, you have a family. You're not just thinking about what I want. What do my kids need? What do my wife need? I want to develop my kids to be men. The toughness you teach them in sports. Dude, it ain't about getting a bloody nose and walking on. It's about, that shit's going to happen to you your whole life. Keep going.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make my boys into men. And even though they are, not exactly what I would have in mind, and I'm not disappointed in them, but I'm just saying there's things about things that I've tried to teach them that they've kind of took in the wrong direction a time or two. But vast majority wise, I feel like if I died now, and this is my personal opinion, and people have plenty of opinions about my kids that know them, and I don't care. But if I died right now, on the way home, if I don't make it home, I know my kids are going to be all right for the rest of their lives. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's a satisfaction in that I've never felt with anything else I've ever done. And that's what I was trying to get to, dude. When they were little, and they come from a divorced home, me and their mother are divorced and all that stuff. And I always worried about that because I didn't come from that, so I didn't know what it was like. So I was always worried about being ill prepared to teach them how to be men from a distance. You know what I mean? Because, anytime I could have them, I had them. Anytime. That's why I didn't miss no practices. It was the times I was actually I was able to spend more time with them in that setting, because who's going to get mad about the dad being there, for practice?
Right.
Now if we always had, like, if we had separate birthday parties or something, they didn't, somebody might not like me showing up for a birthday party that was for the other side of the family, which they can kiss my ass. But, but that was a way for me to stay involved.
Yeah.
And either by accident or on purpose, it was instilled in me somehow as I was growing up that it was important to be involved as a man, to teach your kids to be men. Because I've seen countless people grow up to be something that their parents despise, and I don't want that. You know what I mean? That would. So what I mean to say, without dragging on and on about it, is it's never been about ball. It is, and I love to see my kids do good at it, and I have witnessed both of my boys have some incredible experiences in ball and in life that I never had, still haven't had. Don't know what it feels like to be that person that's doing what they're doing. You know, I mean, some really watch them do some things that I'm just like, and I'm in awe of because I was never that guy. But I don't feel like I wish it was me or that they're living for me.
Right.
It's just incredible to watch. So for me, that's the way I look at it. That's why when somebody goes, you know, well, should you have your kids start playing football in third grade? I'm like, fucking A, you should. You want a man? Oh, I'm yelling in the mic. I mean, I get pretty passionate about this because I look at it that way. There's things, how in the hell can you teach an 8-year-old child to be tough any other way? And I'm not talking about football necessarily, but I'm talking about it takes tenacity to play all these sports, to get out and run in the heat, run after you're way tired and ready to quit, you know, and to give these kids a reason to keep pushing and keep working and keep going to work towards something. How else are you going to teach them that? You know what I mean? You going to put them in the sandbox and teach them that shit? No, they ain't going to learn that on their own. So, I mean, yeah, they can get hurt. That's definitely a thing. Now, I've been fortunate. My kids have never sustained an injury from a sport other than Carter from skateboarding. You know, he busted his head open one time, cracked his skull, skateboarding. But, yeah, it was scary as hell. One of the scariest moments of my life ever. But I'm talking about in organized sports. Mm-hmm. Never had an injury. You know, I mean, Gavin hurt his knee once, but he wasn't really hurt. You know, I mean, he wasn't injured. He was hurt. And plenty of mashed fingers and bloody elbows and that kind of thing. But I'm talking about a sustained, like broken bones or anything like that. So we've been fortunate on that end of it. So, you know, it's hard for me to go, well, yeah, you need to have your, you know, 8-year-old son who's very susceptible to broken bones be playing football. I don't necessarily mean football. I'm just saying children this day and age, with the way things are set up now, how else are you going to teach them these things that are going to apply to their life when they're grown? I mean, how in the hell else? I would like somebody to show me a better way, you know, because then if you don't, these people, and I'm not saying it's 100% always going to be this way, but how many of those kids that don't ever play ball and nobody ever showed any interest in them playing ball or being in anything organized? I'm talking about will go through school, never be in a club, never be in band, never be in anything. They just walk right through school and get out. It's not 100%, but I mean, the vast majority of those kids are going to grow up and try to figure out what the hell and who the hell they are after they're grown. And it's too fucking late, you know? So that's why I'm a proponent of it. You know, I'm like, hell yeah, dude, put your kid in football. Do that. Or put them in youth basketball or baseball. You know, they're 4 or 5 years old. Hell yeah, do it. Not because I want them to play Major League Baseball. No, not because I want your kid to be a professional at it. If they are, awesome. I mean, more power to people that can play a sport for a living. That's awesome, dude. You know, I mean, it's an incredible dream that very few people get to live. But that ain't why. That ain't the why. That ain't where mine comes from, you know? I mean, hell, even if they play professionally, by the time they're 35 years old, except for Tom Brady, but I mean, almost the entire universe of people, by the time they're 35 years old, they got to go do something else. And then you got the most of your life that you're not that professional athlete. And you got to be a man at the end of that. You know, so, and I'm talking about men now, but I mean, I hate to say it because we were talking about boys. And I kind of got off on the boy thing. And I have boys, so it's easy for me to kind of relate that part of it. But
well, signups are going on right now for football. And we're, you know, just like last year, we're struggling to find enough kids to play on our team, you know, and you know, hopefully there's just going to be some late signups, you know, but right now
there always is.
Yeah, I know. But right now we're you know, I just figured a city like McAllister, I would think it's never been like this before, you know. Yeah. I don't know how many kids did Carter have on his, you know, 3rd grade and 4th grade football team?
Plenty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean,
see, we don't.
So.
Well, signups they're closing on the 18th.
Dude, I can't say it enough. I've got 2 boys. One of them's fixing to be 13. One of them's fixing to be 17 within the next couple of months. And they come up from 3rd grade all the way through and played. still play sports, still play football, and I still stand behind it's a good thing to have your kid play football. I mean, if boy or girl, I don't care. I mean, if a girl wants to do it, then let her play. Hell, you know what I mean?
There was a few girls at the Choctaw Nation football camp.
We've played against one girl for sure, and Carter has, my younger son, that was good. She was good.
Sure it was a girl?
Yes, very sure.
Because we played against a team in baseball this year that we could have swore the first baseman was a girl. Looked just like a girl. Didn't, wasn't like, feminine or anything. We learned later that it was a boy.
Well, when they're yelling, good job, Catherine, or whatever, you know what I mean? You're like, aha,
Most
there
likely a
was
girl.
long hair hanging out of that helmet. Okay. And then, like I said, I don't begrudge a girl playing football if she
No.
wants to. I ain't mad about that shit. Get out there. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Hell yeah,
for
mix
real.
it up. Because I've known plenty of girls whenever I was young that was mean enough to do anything I could do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So boy or girl, I think sports of any kind is good, but, I'm a little partial to football, but, I understand it better than I do the other sports. So I'm not saying I'm an authority by any stretch. But
Speaking of bloody nose, you mentioned earlier, Kaysen got a bloody fat lip. Took a nasty hop from baseball the other day in regionals. Dude just rolled across the ground, and just right before it got to him, it was like, here I am, boom, right in the face, dude. And it dropped him.
I'm sure.
It dropped him.
Hell
And,
yeah. It hurts. I remember.
Bleeding all over him, there's blood everywhere, and everybody ran out there because it was a nasty take, so we ran out there, and they're like, the other team brought water out and was like pouring water on him and stuff, because it was bleeding. And I was like feeling of his teeth to make sure, because he's got a retainer now,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I think that may have kept the tooth being knocked out, I'm guessing, because his lip right now is swollen, and it's pretty nasty.
Damn, man.
And I said, dude, I felt a feeling of his teeth, and no loose ones, his retainer's still good. And I said, dude, and all them other guys were like circle around him, like patting on him and stuff. And and I said, dude, finish the play, cry, or whatever you got to do,
Throw the
bleed
ball in the
everywhere,
play.
but finish the play.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I'm sure all them other coaches were thinking the same thing.
It's a hard thing to do.
They would have told their own. Oh yeah, definitely. It hit hard, but like I said, finish the play.
Yeah.
And like I said, if I saw that he was badly hurt, of course, because nobody babies this kid more than I do. I mean, behind the scenes, nobody even sees it, dude.
Yeah.
But it hadn't changed since when he was a baby. I'm still babying him. I'm still, but I'm hard on him at the same time, too. When I see stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I'll make sure he's okay. And he was looking right up at, his little blue eyes, looking right at my eyes, and he's crying, or he's got tears coming down his eyes, and his lips all bloody, and, like, and I'm looking, and I want, like, you told me a long time ago when you saw, you're like, man, the first thing I want to do is go grab him up. I'm like, oh my God.
Jesus. I know that hurt. Yeah.
But at the
Let's
same
cry
time,
together.
You want him to be tough. You
Yeah.
want to toughen him up a little bit, So the first thing Daddy said was, I made sure he was okay. I was like, dude, finish the play, And I've even said it 25 times since the game. He'll walk by me or whatever. I'm like, finish the play. Just to keep it in his head,
Yeah.
And he's like, looking at me like, shut up,
Yeah.
know. And I've got it on video. I videoed the whole thing.
Oh, man.
I've got it all, and he won't watch it because it laid him out, And
Yeah.
he's like, that's embarrassing. He's like, did you put it on Facebook? I'm like, no, not yet. He's like, don't do it. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
got up, you finished. You stayed in the game. Even Coach Mullins, Justin said, hey, you're not gonna be scared of it now, are you? And he's like, no. And I was like, no. He's like, you ain't gonna be scared of the ball, are you? But
He might not show you his, but the next time he'll be like, oh, shit.
well, I said, dude, that was. It's kind of hard.
Anybody would.
Right. It's kind of hard. I said, dude, listen, that's not gonna happen every time. But be ready for it to pop up, But just stay in front of it. He did. He stayed in front of it, popped up. He had his glove on the ground. He was doing everything right. He did nothing wrong. But
Yeah, dude, they just
other
bad
than, I
hops
guess
happen.
he probably should have had his right arm up, so he could have. Well, he throws with his left arm, so his left arm up. I don't know. I didn't. It's just a nasty hop.
Yeah,
That's the way it goes.
it happens, dude.
You know.
You can tell them all day long, run up on the ball. You can do
Yeah.
all that crap, and it'll still sometimes take a bad hop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. Well, he stayed in the game, and I think that batter, or two batters later, he got him out. So he stayed in there and toughed it out, And he's the smallest one on the team. He's just like old dad. I was the smallest kid on my team, smallest kid in my grade, smallest kid probably in the school for a while, So I know what he's going through, and sometimes it kind of frustrates me because I'd like him to be a little more, advanced in some of the stuff, some of the sports, But he's definitely got he's got it all there. He's just needs to get a little bit bigger.
Well, it's development, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
there's going to be kids that develop faster than others. And I've seen it in my own kids, where, my son sometimes is the kid that developed on this a little bit faster than the other one. And then sometimes it's just like, is this dude ever going to get it? I don't know. You're like, in your mind, you're like, maybe, maybe this is it. Maybe this is as far as he's going to get with it, And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're like, holy shit. I can't believe he just did that, and those are the awesome times, whenever he's come over that hump or, developmentally he's gotten to where, he's more secure or whatever. You see that boost in confidence and that kind of thing like that. And then, hell, you'll forget about all them times, and they will too, the times that they didn't get it right. Now they know they can do it, and it's like,
Yeah.
Those are the times that you're like, shit, yeah, it's all worth it. That bust in the mouth and all that. And the next time he stops that ball, or if he takes one off his chest and then goes ahead and makes the play, you'd be like, hell yeah, see what I was telling you, man?
Yeah.
Think about how good that feels. How many kids you've seen stop and not make that play, and you toughed it out and made it.
Yep.
And you're the one everybody's slapping on the back and slapping in the head and throwing their glove at and all that. That's the cool part of it. So, yeah, that stuff, dude, you can't, I don't know how you can replace it. You know what I mean? I know sports isn't for everybody. I get it. But damn, dude, I mean, maybe it's my limited intelligence, but I can't think of a better way to develop a kid mentally. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's probably ways that I don't know because I don't know everything, but in my own kids, dude, I've seen it good shit. You know what I mean? Most of the time. 99% of the time. So yeah, that's awesome, dude. Watching them, I've seen mine get hurt, dude. I've had them, and 12 years old is my cutoff for crying. 10 really is. That's when I start saying you're too old to cry. But when Carter was 12 and I saw him get hit in the legs real hard, and at first I thought it was his knee got bent backwards, and I was like, oh my God. Of course, like you were saying, you run over there, oh Jesus. You're not saying anything to him, but you're like, looking at it, and moving it, and is it
Analyzing
jacked
the
up?
situation, yeah.
Is it pointing the wrong way or anything like that? No, Is it hurting? Hell yeah, you know it's hurting. And then you go, dude, don't cry. You're 12 years old, bro. You're over there whispering to him, there are people,
Watching
your family is in the stands waiting on you to get back up and get out there and do your job. I know it hurts, bro, but it'll quit in a minute. You'll forget about it. And then when they do that, that's one of them humps that they got over. And the next time it's a little bit easier, and that's the shit.
And that's exactly why I was telling him, finish the play. You know?
It's hard to see it in
He
the
had a
moment.
bad headache after that too.
Yeah.
Gave him an instant headache. So I was like, man, dang it.
Yeah, but it's good for them, dude. I hate to say it. It's hard to say something like that's good for them, but from a parent standpoint, from and I like to coddle my kid, dude. I love on mine. I'll hug on them and more than they want a lot of times, They're like, oh man, I'm taller than you are, I'm like, I don't give a shit. You're going to hug me, boy.
Well, it helps the rest of the team too, because they're like, if you got any other, kind of crybabies or whatever, they're like, oh, well, if you tough it out, I can tough it out too.
I remember thinking, even whenever we were playing like dad pitch or coach pitch or whatever, and somebody be getting on their son for, he's like over there, crying about something. And he's like, man, you better suck it up, dude. You going to play ball? You going to sit over here and cry like a little baby. I'd catch myself being like, oh damn, I don't want that dude to think I'm a baby. You know,
Yeah.
I better be tough too.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey,
so.
our biggest, toughest dude in our school or in our class, one of them, he got his tooth busted out in a basketball game. I won't say any names. He cried like a baby, dude. He just kept crying. I was like, "Are you kidding me, dude?"
Well, I'm not gonna lie. If my grill got jacked up,
Oh,
I might cry.
I'm gonna be highly upset. But whoever jacked the grill up is gonna pay for it,
Yeah.
and not with dollars.
I don't know how I protect my teeth. You know what I'm saying? Because
100%, dude.
I've never had to wear braces or anything like that.
I
But
did.
they were one of the things that I was gifted. I don't know if you'd say from the Lord or from genetics or whatever you want to say. I
The
was
Lord.
given some decent teeth, and I
somebody hurts
appreciate them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when you have a physical attribute that you maybe aren't so self-conscious over, that you're able to kind of just say, that's a good thing about me that I don't have to worry about. You don't want nobody jacking with that shit. You know what I mean? Don't mess with the pearls. You know what I'm saying? I got to have these bitches.
That's what I've always said.
I mean, I'm fat. I can't have fucked up teeth too.
Earlier, we mentioned your Instagram. It's Lucas_Johnson 2016.
All right.
So it's Lucas, Lucus.
It's Lucus. It better be Lucas.
Nope.
Are you serious, man?
Yeah, man.
I've never paid attention.
You misspelled your own name.
I didn't put it in there. Is it Lucus for real?
It is. You didn't put it in there.
I didn't make my Instagram, bro.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's Lucus.
Well, I know who did, and they ought to fucking know better.
I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
kidding.
I never look at it, dude. I don't even look at my username or anything.
Yeah,
That's
but
why
you
I'm-
would see if your username was. It is Lucas_Johnson 2016. So Lucas_Johnson 2016.
You'll see a whole lot of shit on there that may not be sports related. A lot of shit about my car I'm building, which we're wanting to do a podcast in the car when I get it going.
Yes.
And I'm hyped.
And I've
about
got a message from one of our listeners that said that Nicholas Darley, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he messaged me, and he's actually messaged me a few times, man, because he's rolling.
He listens?
Yeah, and he's loving some of the stories. I'm like, man, weird stuff happens to me, dude. I know people probably think like the story. I have not made one story up. Jeez.
Almost all what you put on here is PG shit anyway. There's a bunch of stuff.
Know. Well, the porn in the lobby.
Yeah,
that's far fetched. That's far fetched, dude. That's far fetched. I know it is. And most of the stuff that happens to me is far fetched. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, no one's gonna believe me when I say this. No one's gonna believe me. No one's gonna believe in junior high after a dance I got chased by a dude. Me and 7 other girls or 4 other girls or however many girls that were out there that we were waiting for our parents to pick us up. No one's going to believe that. No one's going to believe that I had to wait for the girls to run because they were in high heels. And I was telling them, take the high heels off. Take them off. We have to run, okay? We have to get away from this dude because he's crazy and he's fixing to kidnap one or all of us. He's not going to kidnap me because I'm out of here.
I've never heard this story, but...
I know I probably never told you, but yeah, we were waiting on our parents at Wilburton Junior High. We had a Valentine's dance or whatever at the activity building, and we're outside waiting for our parents. And this dude pulls up, asks if we had seen so and so, gives us a name, and we were like, "No, she left a long time ago." I know this guy, by the way. Okay. And
you still know this guy?
I mean, I haven't seen him in a long time.
But it was somebody you knew.
Yes, absolutely. But I don't think he knew who I was because he would have never done what he did. Never.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you were small, and they probably thought you were another girl.
So right, exactly. He's like, well, this short-haired girl over here is running real fast. You know, I'm running, right? I turn around, I stop.
What did he say when he got out? Was he like, come here?
He was screaming at us, right? And he was across the road, and then he like just peeled out real, come over there, and when he started coming after us, we took off running, and
It's terrifying, bro.
I was flying, right? You know, of course,
Right. I've seen you run.
no
yeah.
one's gonna catch me.
I ain't gonna take that away from you. You can run like a motherfucker.
And I was like, oh gosh. I turned around. I'm like, I'm a dude running with some girls, you know, and I can't be the dude that leaves them behind, you know. So I turned around, and they're like high heels stepping through the grass. I'm like, dude, I scream, take it off. Take your high heels off. You've got to run. This is life or death. This is life or death. And you have to come. Hurry up. Let's go. I mean, I was shocked that these girls were trying to run across this field. You know, the front of the junior high, because we're running around to the front of the junior high.
Because the dance was in the commons area, or I mean, not the commons area, the gym.
Right,
the
and we were
gym.
too far over this way to beat him back to the gym. And who was going to protect us? You know, there were some teachers there, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm like, we have to get out of here. We have to run and hide, and he'll never catch us. So we did. We ran around behind the junior high and hid for a long time. And he came over to the gym, the high school gym, you know, the old gym now, but he came to the gym and was like peeling out and stuff in the parking lot. Dude, he was looking hardcore for us. And so we finally, when we thought the coast was clear, we ran back into the deal, and I think the cops were called and all that. Yeah. Dude, it's a true story, man. And if any of the girls that were there, I remember 2 or 3 of them. And if any of them listen to the podcast, then they're going to comment.
Dude, that's insane.
This is how I know if they're listening or not, because they're going to be like, oh, gosh, yeah, I've got to comment about that. Because it's a true story. I saved their life, man.
Did you tell?
I was a freaking hero.
Did you tell your
Do you
mom
think I
or
was
anybody?
in the paper for being a hero? You think I was in the paper? You know, Brad Watkins.
But
he gets
will the
pulled,
girls tell a different story than you?
No.
I mean, will they say, well,
No.
Ben never even slowed down?
No, they probably thought at first I wasn't going to slow down. They're like, well, dang. Well, we know Ben's not going to get, kidnapped, but one of us is. I think they were just trying to stay in front of each other, like kind of like the bear story,
Whoever's
Can you
last.
outrun a bear? No, but I can outrun you,
Yeah.
So that's all I have to outrun. I think that's kind of what game they were playing.
Jacked up.
Yeah. But I don't remember exactly how many girls. I just know I turned around. There was a whole bunch of girls in dresses and high heels, and they're just like trying to through the grass. I'm like, are you kidding me? Take those shoes off. Get them off. You're going to die. And it's funny now, but dude, it was not funny at the time.
Right.
And does it? I know people get kidnapped all the time. 2 kids got kidnapped in Oklahoma City today, and it was on camera. It was on live. There was a helicopter flying. I was watching the news out of Oklahoma City, and it was live. And this dude stole this Armada, had 2 kids in it, an 8-month-old, and a 2-year-old or 3-year-old, and they got him. Everybody was okay, but it was all on video, that they were trying. Well, at first they thought they had the Armada, and this person like pulled into a business or whatever, and they were like, "Oh gosh, this ain't it.
We've been following the wrong vehicle."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then by the time they caught up to the right when the cops had already swarmed it and had him in cuffs and all that, and then the kids were. But so yeah, that stuff happens all the time. But I mean, how many times do you think in your life that you were on the verge of getting kidnapped by this dude that you freaking know?
No, I've never
and
had that
more,
experience.
There's more to that story. Not to that story, but there's more to this guy. And we did have some run-ins with him early on in the family.
Was it Quasi?
No. Heck no. You think I'm going to run from that dude? I mean, I know he'll probably do some damage once he got a hold of you. That dude's strong.
I saw him flip out one time in Handy Stop, and I'm telling you right now, he's like
Whatever happened to him?
Dude, he's like a grown chimp, okay? If he wants to,
Super strong,
he'll
I
snatch
bet.
your arms right off your body.
Yeah. Whatever happened to him? I hadn't even thought about him
I don't
until
know.
just now.
I haven't either. He's popped in my head. I don't even know why.
Wow.
Dude, I saw him kick a door almost off its hinges in Handy Stop 2 one time.
Jeez.
because
glass
somebody
door?
yelled quasi at him when they were driving by, and then like an idiot pulled into the store where he could see where they pulled in. He ran his ass down there, and they went to the back. They didn't know they was walking. I was working at Handy Stop.
They just called him that?
Me and Jeremy Lyons. If Jeremy Lyons ever sees or hears this,
He can attest to it.
come in here and show that this happened. Come in.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
I know, bro. This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who it was. It was a girl, and
She said that? A girl called him that?
yeah, quasi. You know, people used to yell at him all the time driving by.
Yes. And they thought he was probably
He
okay
come
with
in
it.
there and he was trying to kick the door off the hinges. We had to tell him we were going to call the cops. We're like, man, fix call the cops. He's like, this bitch wanted to yell, call me names. I'm sick of this shit. Blah, blah. He's freaking out. Yeah, dude. We're like, you have to get out of here. You're going to jail, dude.
hope he
I
don't
ain't going to
watch.
jail. Blah blah. I'm like,
He break the
He didn't break
cuffs.
the.
Break the cuffs if they put him
Oh,
in the
probably.
cuffs.
I mean, I have no doubt if he'd have been left alone at the door,
He'd have killed her.
got through there. I don't know what he'd have done, but he would have got through that door real easy. Dude, he kicked it so hard the first time. He walked up with his stubby little legs and front kicked this mother. Boom!
Yeah,
First kick.
I really hope he don't listen.
Dude, I was like,
I don't even know if he's still alive. Where's
I
he
don't know.
at?
I don't know. I'm distantly related to him somehow. For real.
Really?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I can see the resemblance.
Yeah, me too. That's why I can talk about his ass. I'll see him at the family reunion tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if I'm related to him or not. I'm just kidding. But
Oh.
I probably am. Hell, I'm
Like
related
you
to
thought
half
you
of
were
Wilson.
at some point?
Yeah. I like.
Well, you had family
I'm
in
in
Wilburton
denial
when you
about
moved
it.
there?
Yeah. My mom's from Wilburton originally. Grew up there.
Oh, okay. So that's how you landed in Wilburton.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom's from there, dude.
So dude yelled at, or girl yelled at him. Did she ever go face to face with him at all?
No, hell no.
Did she
dude.
know what was going on?
I think maybe she was a college girl or something like that, and you know what I mean.
But I'm just saying, like, she went into the bathroom.
She didn't understand the gravity of it, and
So
she didn't
after-
know this man was gonna come in there after her.
So after he left, did you tell her?
Yeah, we're like, what the fuck are you doing? Why would you do that? We all do it, but we keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You keep
You don't
driving.
stop.
You don't turn in when this motherfucker can see you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's kind of like George Higgins, man.
Oh,
you know,
God, yeah.
calling him cue ball. You know, I know he got irate at people for calling him that. And I never knew if that story was real.
I personally had him freak out on me over calling him cue ball.
Oh, gosh.
For real. Pulled up next to Sharps. Whatever street that is that Central?
Yeah.
What street? Okay, on the north side of Main Street though. Is that Central also? North Central then, right?
Yeah,
South
yeah.
Central, North Central.
Yes.
Okay, we pull up there between Huskins and Sharps, and I pull up into the crosswalk. Me and my brother. You can ask my brother about this. We were my first pickup that I ever owned.
Well, does your brother listen?
No, probably not.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. He's never has said what he does or doesn't. But anyway, if you ever see him, ask him about it. Because we're sitting there and we pull up
Well, we're going
into
to
the
know if he listens
crosswalk,
after this podcast.
and George Higgins comes walking, and I feel bad about this now. You know,
yeah. I
but
mean, we were young.
I was very
dumb.
young. I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
And he comes walking, and he's like, "What the hell? Why are you parked in the crosswalk? How are people supposed to cross the street?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Get your damn truck out of here!" And he like hit it with the palm of his hand, my hood, you know, which my truck was not nice. He did not hurt it. It was
Right.
not.
But still.
If he'd have beat on the hood, it wouldn't have hurt this piece of shit. And he's like, "Get out of there." And I go, "I'll tell you what, cue ball, you better get the fuck out of the way. Quit touching my vehicle." And he's like, "What'd you call me?" I was like, "You heard me." You know, we're yelling at each other. My brother's like, "Let's go." You know, and we just drove off, but it was stupid, dude.
I used to give him rides every time I'd see him.
I'd
But
give him to rides to McAllister football games when my cousin Justin played up here.
after that,
Wait, yeah, my cousin Justin's like
Did he ever bring it
3
up?
years younger than me. He don't remember that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
well, he would take a paper, the new paper, and take it to my grandpa's shop every time. He would always give my grandpa a new paper.
Really?
Yeah. And he'd go in there and kind of talk to them, you know, a little bit, because he was always going to college and all that. So I kind of knew him in that aspect, other than just seeing him in town and stuff. So I'd always give him a ride if he was, you know, going somewhere.
Oh, wow.
Wouldn't hurt
mean-
me none. But I did. It doesn't mean I didn't mess with him. Okay. I mean, I would be over there.
Cue ball!
Not that. I don't think I ever did that, but I'd be over in my granny's house and I'd have those lasers, you know, because when those lasers were real big. So Scotty and I would be over there at my granny's house, you know, in the window, or we'd climb on the roof and we would just mess with people driving by and stuff. I know, dude, but it was Scotty and I. Come on,
Right.
I mean, that right there is nothing
Right.
compared to the what we would do. And so we were flashing these lasers at him and stuff, and then we'd hide, behind a tree or whatever, and or we'd stop, and he'd be looking, and I didn't know that he knew right where they were coming from until my grandpa said, "Hey, are you shining lasers at George Higgins when he walks by?" I was like, "Yeah, but how do you know that?" And he was like, "Man," he's like, "He came in here and told me, dude, somebody's shining lasers from over your house, over the big house." He's like, "I don't know what it is."
He knew exactly what the hell
these
was
lasers are being shot. I don't, yeah. And my grandpa was like, he's like, "Come on, leave George alone." I'm like, "We're just having a good time,
Yeah.
And
We're being little jackasses.
yeah, it's kind of part of it. But I never knew if that story was if that story about him putting a cue ball in his mouth was right.
Oh, I don't know.
And I would like, I would like to hear from somebody that knows for sure.
You won't hear from him. Okay.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying somebody that was there.
I never knew anybody that could back it up. I heard the same story, or whatever.
Yeah.
But he didn't like being called cue ball because I called him to his face to try to piss him off, and it worked. It definitely worked.
I like George.
I did too, man.
He was just, different. He had his, but
I saw him walking in front of Lindley's in Hartshorn one time.
a
I was
real
headed
nice
up.
guy and loved Eastern.
Right.
Bled blue.
Well, and that's what I'm saying about he was into McAllister football time. They were pretty good when my cousin Justin played up here.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Byram.
Okay.
When he played here
Does
at
he
McAllister.
listen?
Nah, I don't think he even knows about our podcast. I haven't
Okay.
talked to him in a while, but I saw him the other day at the fireworks, the Boom in the Valley thing at
Oh, yeah?
Tuscaloma the other day. He was directing traffic because he works for the Choctaw Nation.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, when he was playing up here, they were pretty good. That's when Cricket and all those guys were playing. And so he was walking down the highway in front of Lindley's. And I was like, what the hell's George doing here? So I pull over. I'm like, what are you doing, George? He's like, I'm trying to get to McAllister. I want to watch that football game. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, come on, man.
Awesome.
Jumped him in with me. We went, and I paid his way in and watched the game. And he disappeared on me. I didn't give him a ride back. I don't know who he rode back with or how he got back or anything. He just
Well, you got him there, and that's all that matters.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's a redeeming story or not, but I mean, it did happen.
Well, you helped him.
Yeah. I didn't call him cue ball either while we were riding.
Heck no, dude. He might pull out a knife out of his pocket and stab you in the throat while you're driving. That might have been the end of you.
Yeah. I did not want that to be the end of me, George Higgins.
Well, I'm glad because I didn't know you before then, so
There wasn't much to know.
I didn't know you at all, even anywhere close to those years. Just knew of you.
I wasn't cool. I was an idiot.
Which handy shop did you work at?
Me?
Yeah.
I worked at all of them at one time or another.
Which one did this happen at?
Handy Stop 2, the
Oh,
one that's
okay.
still around.
So you worked right there by my house.
Yes. Me and Jeremy Lyons, dude. Yeah. I always
I
worked
had
with
to
Jeremy
have
if I
seen
could.
you a million times in there then, because
Yeah.
I mean that's the place that I always. went
No,
and
I
got
only
gas
worked
in.
there like 4 or 5 months probably.
Now, how
I
old
didn't
were
work-
you?
I was...
Still in high school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I would have been like probably 17,
Well, hell, I was
16,
probably
17.
still in diapers.
Yeah.
2 years
No.
old, 3.
You were shaving,
No, I wasn't. I wasn't shaving until like 24.
You're back.
No, not even close, man. Not even close. All right, let's wrap it up.
All right, man.
We got enough to satisfy the listeners. Hopefully, we touched base on a little bit of stuff. There's a lot more I wanted to touch base on.
Oh, hell yeah.
We rant.
I
We
know.
go on
I'm bad about it, dude. I'm
we
sorry.
both are. We both are. No, it's not. It's nothing bad. I'm just saying, like, there's like things that This is why I should write stuff down.
Yeah.
Just if there's any doubt in my mind that I'm going to forget about it, just write it down. I want to touch base on the the football field or the football sign ups. I want to touch base on that, and you kind of fell right into it, and I didn't even say anything to you beforehand, but I wanted you to talk about how you felt about kids playing football,
Yeah.
in sports.
Because you've heard this rant many times.
Yeah, and so it definitely needed to be recorded.
I'm like George Higgins. I'm an easy trigger on those kind of things. Like all I have to do is bring it up, and this dude will go off for 20 minutes.
It's kind of like electric cars in the future, and you
Yep.
think that
If we ever run out of shit to talk about, just say, "What do you think about automated vehicles?" And yeah, I'll vomit on it for 2 hours.
So I want to touch base on the football signups. We're having issues with, every year of getting a team together, and I don't know if it's going to be that way from here on out. I don't know if the times are changing, and it's just going to be tough for us to get a football team together until, junior high, and then you can combine them, I guess, however that works. And so I want to touch base on that. We touch base on you thinking,
Yeah,
that's
being
enough.
correct on
No.
yes.
But anyways,
This episode brought to you in part by Blackline Insurance Group. Get on out there and get your insurance taken care of by Ben Klein. He'll take care of you on pretty much any insurance need you got, as far as I know of. Even things I've never even heard of, you insure, like weddings and all that other crazy business.
can you believe that?
Yeah, I didn't even know that was possible. You know what I'm saying?
It
I
is.
mean, can I insure like my teeth?
Yes. If you can prove that,
They're of a value to me.
yeah, it's kind of like J-Lo insuring her butt.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This is my butt.
Right.
This is my J-Lo butt. Yeah,
It's just-
I'll go with that.
So yeah, you'd have to prove, I guess, that there's some monetary value in it that you and
All I got to do is send them a picture, bruh.
well, if you lose your teeth, is it going to cost you anything other than the dental work?
I'll send them a picture and say, could you imagine this without these? And they'll be like, damn, it's very true.
All right, we're going to
$1 million coverage?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Also, there's another thing I'm getting into is Medicare supplements.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing that as well.
Really?
So if you know anyone,
I know somebody right now.
that needs it,
Yes.
hallelujah.
Yes, dude. We will talk off
Good.
camera.
Yes.
Or off audio, I guess. The camera's probably off.
camera
but-
stopped a long time ago. We're going to fix that issue too, by the way.
Yeah, I'm fixing
No
to
more of
bring
that.
my shitty camera up here and we'll at least use it.
So
'cause
if
it
you're
won't stop.
listening to this on YouTube because you're not watching it,
And you want to sponsor us?
yeah, I don't know, man.
You can get a sponsorship for a really nice camera.
I would like to get that would be cool. Get a sponsorship, but I don't think we're big enough yet to get a sponsorship.
Well, surely somebody is visionary enough to see this is going to go somewhere and they could make an investment that, the return may not be immediate on, but will eventually
Yeah.
turn a huge dividend.
Yep.
If you're a visionary, if you're an entrepreneur on that level, it's going to take a special person, that has the ability to look into the future and see how valuable this little
The
platform is.
The
you know?
magic that we
Yeah.
have going on. Seriously though, I'm having a good time.
Me too.
If you and I weren't even putting this on anywhere, it was just funny. It's
Yeah,
just
we've been
fun.
doing this shit for years.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
like this, only without all the shit in front of us. Yeah.
Yep. This episode brought to you by Blackline Insurance Group. You can go to blacklineinsuranceGroup.com, or you can call me or text me or message me,
Or you
email me.
You can message me for details, and I'll give you his freaking, I don't know,
Yeah, you
email
can go
address
to,
or
you can
something.
go to Lucas_Johnson 2016 on Instagram and comment on his picture of his car.
Yeah, you can DM me if you want to
And say-
sponsor the show.
Yeah. 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 But
That's shameless right there,
We're
dude.
not
That is
taking any.
shameless.
We're not taking any small sponsorships.
Well, it depends on what you want in return. You know what I mean?
A lot of things I would do for a new nice camera. I mean, I could use my phone. I just don't have a holder for it.
I've thought about it too. You know what I mean? Because we've got, between the two of us, pretty decent cameras
And
on our
I
phones.
kind of like the whole aspect of a camera though, where you can turn the lid around. The lid. Oh my gosh, the
Yeah.
screen, so I can make sure that it's recording.
Oh,
And
yeah.
So when you have your phone going, you don't know for sure that it's recording. So there's a way. There's a need for that. But anyways,
Well, let's wrap this up.
yes. Thank you for watching and listening and liking and subscribing and
Yes.
commenting and engaging. But I put that video of me singing in the shower up on Facebook, and you still have not sent me your video.
Oh, well, I keep sending you one and it won't work, dude.
You're sending it to me in Snapchat or on Snapchat. I can't.
I feel like
copy
I
that.
feel like it's so staged at this point that it's going to be like not in the moment. You know what I mean? It won't be as good.
You feel like you can't do better than what I did?
Dude, I did Sorry by
you-
Justin Bieber with a wig on and lipstick.
My question is, do you feel like it was better than mine?
No. But you've been practicing yours for weeks and weeks and weeks.
What are you talking about? I did that one time. I mean, I know I've sent you several other videos of me in the shower, but that one was just a one taker.
You see me fidgeting?
Yeah, you're hot.
I got to pee real
Me
bad.
too.
Real bad.
Submit your video, man.
Okay,
You're
all right.
leaving me hanging.
All right.
Josh submitted one, and it was and there was no audio because when he put it when he put it on Facebook, it was like no. And you can circumvent that though. You can say yes. Okay, so if you're listening, say yes. Submit the video. Don't make me delete mine because now everyone's leaving me hanging. No one's really talking about it. Everyone
I'll
likes
get
it. Everyone's loving it.
I'll get it sent.
But no one's got the balls. Grow the damn balls and make your own video. It don't have to be in the shower. It can be anywhere. Okay?
All right, cool. Have yourself a great day.
Love your body.